First thing I see is Gojira has caused a satanic panic. I don't watch the Olympics. I grew up in sports and I hate them. But what the fuck? I don't. I don't know. Oh, man. Yeah. Boomers be booming. The fact that a satanic panic can still happen is pretty wild to me. Yeah, as much as I care, I completely appreciate that people love the Olympics. I don't care about the Olympics at all. I know. I literally didn't watch the Olympics for the first time until I was 25. I'm not kidding. I'm from such a not Olympics family. I didn't know you could watch the Olympics on TV until I was like 25. And then I dated a guy whose mom and sister were in gymnastics and they loved to watch the Olympics. And I watched it and I was like, wow, okay. Sports ball, man. I don't know. It's cool. Like athletes and shit. Like get your body nice, do what you need to do. Wild, cool. But like, I have yet to see an athlete come out of the Olympics and be like, wow, that was the best experience of my life. And I'm sure glad I did that. Like they all crack and lose their minds and go on. Like it feels like a whole lot of pressure for some medal. I'm thinking like gymnasts and shit, Vex. Like I don't hate on the work that goes into doing what you do, like whatever your hobby is, if it's athletics or if it's Olympics or anything like that, like you do you boo boo. I just watching it, I'm a doer. Like I want to do stuff. Like I like to play basketball. I don't want to watch basketball. I like to play baseball and watching sports has always just felt kind of like weird. I just want to do it. I don't know. I don't know. I was raised in the Olympics. See, and there's Olympics families. I get that. And completely appreciate it. I'm not kidding you when I say I was 25 when I learned you could watch them on TV. Again, didn't grow up with TV, so that was probably part of it, but like seriously didn't even know people watched them. I had no idea. I was just no one in my life. Like we watched motocross, and like car races and shit, but I knew nothing about that shit. My dad was a huge Jimmy McKay fan, so we were wide world of sports household. It's so weird because all of my siblings we were all pushed to do sports, like encouraged heavily to do sports, and like all of us did. My dad even coached all my brothers. He coached baseball, and I think he coached football at one point. And like my sister did softball, and I did volleyball and soccer and softball, and I did golf. We all did sports, but my family does not watch sports. You would be hard pressed. I'd go out there and say you couldn't find a team thing in my parents' house. Like not a Seahawks thing, not a Packers, nothing. Sports are just not even like they're aware of them because of the news, but other than that, they just have no fucking idea, and it's weird. Like you could name famous players, and unless it's like Ken Griffey Jr., I don't know the name of anybody. Babe Ruth, that was a famous sports person. Like I know nothing. I just played it, and I learned later it was because my mom was afraid we were gonna get fat. Good morning, Rage. That's part of why I like the Trevor Bauer stuff. He takes you through the thought process rather than just the general commentator bullshit. And that's the cool shit. Or like, I like to watch the behind the scenes where it goes into the training of the gymnasts and shit before they get to the Olympics and what that's like that, and seeing their personal story and hearing their personal opinions and stuff. That is way more interesting to me than watching them flail around on a carpet for a minute. And then a whole bunch of old people who don't do gymnastics rating them terribly. All of it seems really fucking weird. It's like a bunch of people looking at underdressed young girls and then giving them a score on whether or not they flipped well. And I'm pretty sure none of those judges could flip for fuck's sake. I don't know. It seems odd. Yeah, the personal stories are the best part. I love that part, but it's just the Olympic itself. I'm like, whatever. Although curling is pretty cool. I will say curling, that was the one thing that I took out of watching the Olympics the one time I watched them when I was like 25 or 26 or whatever. was curling. I didn't know that existed. Curling's pretty cool. That's about it, though. Um, the Sunfish one, we haven't watched the Sunfish one, so I'm gonna play music. I don't know if I'm gonna play videos that I need to watch today because I'm not gonna be able to watch them. If you're not on Twitter, good for you, it's a cesspool. But, and if you weren't here at the end of the day yesterday, how dare you, bastard. Um, my plan today is to make weed butter and listen to cool music and hang out. Um, I've been wanting to do this for ages, actually. I've just been waiting for my weed to cure a certain amount. But for those that were unaware, I grew a ton of weed, like a lot of my own weed last year. I have no idea what strains I grew. I have no idea the potency. I grew random fucking seeds that I found in my weed for like 8 years. I just hoarded them and then grew them. So I already weighed it out. I've got all my shit back here, all my cooking shit. Yeah. So it's one of those things, like it's not gonna, it's, so let me break it down for you. So essentially, I sit here and have to break all this apart into manageable pieces. And then I have to put it in the oven at a really, really low temperature for an hour to carboxylate it. I memorized the recipe. I read it like 50 times this morning while I was grocery shopping. And then you take it out and then you put it in the butter and you melt the butter in a pan, like a pound of butter in a pan. And you put the weed in the butter and then you literally let it sit on a ridiculously low heat for like 3 hours. Because if the heat gets too high, you kill the THC. There's a whole science to it. So I brought out my little hot plate from when we did HelloFresh ages ago. Yeah, because you do it at such a low heat. No shit, Vex. According to the book and all the recipes I read online, basically the temperature you want it at is just warm enough to keep the butter a liquid. And that's it. Like you're not boiling it, you're not bubbling it, nothing. It's 3 hours of just sitting there, and like every 15 minutes you have to, or is it every like 30 minutes you have to stir it or something? I'll reread the instructions before I do that part. So that's why I brought out the hot plate, because I would have to get up like every 30 minutes and go into my kitchen and stir it and leave you guys, and it just seems so stupid. So I figure if it's here, then I can stir it on I can like have fucking eyes on it and set an alarm. So that's step one. So can of butter. While that's all going though, I got some of the ingredients to do some of those cool things from that channel we watched yesterday. Oh god, what's his name? I just blanked on him. The guy that does the retro recipes. Called Levo? Ooh. I will save it. What I'm trying to catch up on chat, and can we not talk about it? There's strong feelings and I don't really have energy for all that. Up to Katie, we can talk about forever. What are we trying to talk about? If it irritates anyone, I'm canceling the conversation. Let's talk about something fun. If you guys keep prodding, I'll start telling you stories about rotting balls. I can make you stop. Bitches, let's fucking go. Yeah, we're not gonna. I honestly just don't care about the Olympics at all to talk about it. I'd rather talk about literally anything else. We got to watch Dark Crystal in the watch party last night, and that was really exciting and made me really happy. I'm gonna start picking this weed apart. You're just supposed to bust it into smaller pieces so that it like all of it gets heat exposed the same, I guess, something like that. Dude, Dark Crystal is easily one of my favorite movies ever. It's truly, like Knives was saying last night, it was really ahead of its time. I feel like, just in terms of like what they did with the puppets and stuff. And I think Glut posted the link to like the Wheel did provide last night. Well, there's a documentary about like the making of the Dark Crystal. And I've seen it. Of course I have. I own it. It's amazing. And one of the coolest things, I mean, fascinating, like fucking mind-blowing things about the Dark Crystal to me is that back in the, whenever, was it like 89 or when was the Dark Crystal made? I don't even know. It's oldish, but back when it was made, each Skeksis, So the big, like crazy bird looking things. Each Skeksis took upwards of 17 people to man. 17 people were jammed up into the asshole of that bird, working every single little mechanic, making the cheeks sink in and out, blowing up the bodies, sinking them in, desiccating them, all that shit. Fucking wild. So, if you didn't know, and if you're not a diehard Dark Crystal fan or whatever, you probably don't know, but they did do a Dark Crystal series on Netflix, and they canceled it after one season, and we're all really bitter about it. And we hate that they've done this to us. But I watched the documentary on that show as well, like all the extra features and stuff, and they recreated the Skeksis to only, I think, like 6 people to man them, down from, 15, 17 people to man a Skeksis, like one Skeksis puppet. Fucking fascinating. Like, can you imagine those puppeteers jammed up inside that asshole? I slept from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. Oh my god. How are you feeling? Is it good? The Dark Crystal series was so fucking good. And I'm not just saying that because I love the Dark Crystal. I truly, truly stand by that. I think it was such a good series. And I say I don't understand how the fuck they canceled it, or like why, because the amount of money that they invested into this fucking show, and I don't know the amount of money, I'm just guessing based on the actors they got, the props, the puppets, the puppeteers, the scenes creation, like etc, etc, etc. Fucking crazy. Just crazy to me that they made one season, they were like, meh. All of that shit is sitting in a warehouse somewhere, and that is infuriating. Oh, I know. No shit. I told you I've been showering recklessly, right? Like, I've just been washing and drying it and not really giving a fuck. It has not faded at all, but you can look how fast my hair grows. Isn't that weird? My hair grows really fast. Still don't know how I feel. Parts of me that hurt yesterday don't know, and it confuses me. Have you moved yet? Have you guzzled coffee yet? I remember being a kid in the theater when Dark Crystal came to. Oh my god, I'm so jealous. I saw it when I was a kid, but I don't. We didn't live anywhere with a fucking theater. We lived in the middle of fuck nowhere. But I'm very jealous. That would have been amazing. Seriously, life-changing experience. My I was gonna say my theater. We have an Alamo Draft House near us, which I think are everywhere in the U.S. And they do stuff in the summer where they'll run classic movies, like older movies. And last summer, we got to see Godfather in theater. That was fucking cool. That was like, I truly think something went wrong and we broke movies. Because I feel like there's some movies that were built for a theater, and that's definitely one of them. And nowadays, I feel like half the movies in theater I could watch on a TV and get the same experience. Threw my back out? What? Cannabis couch cats. Oh no, dude. Cheers. I am covered in weed dust right now because I'm breaking my weed up. But I see your cheers, and cheers. Where's a lighter? There's so much keef dust on my hands right now. Yucky. The Warren, is it similar like big, nice assigned seats? You don't have to touch anybody. My watch has a completely circle for sleep time, that is kind of wild. I can't remember the last time I slept that long. Oh, do you love it? Oh my god. Anime, what? Oh, do you like my shirt, Vex? Thank you. That's fucking wild. So Wikipedia is saying the Netflix budget was $97.7 million. Million? And they just threw that away? Cheers. I feel kind of like eating chicken in front of my chickens right now. You know? You know what I'm saying? But that being said, if anybody has music you'd like me to play, not like something that obviously I'm not going to be able to see every second of, so if you're like one of those videos where you're like, Katie, you have to watch every second, I'd be really mad if you look down, not the one, but if you guys have music and stuff, or we could, I mean, I feel like I do this often, but there's certain videos out there like Volcano by Jungle where it's literally an hour of amazing music videos, amazing dancing, and amazing music that can just go. While I pick this apart, if you guys would so wish, I just have to pick this apart and do this. This is the tedious part. The tedious weed part. Dude, no shit, Cinema. Squat University is pretty fabulous. I started watching the channel, and it's a fitness channel, but they focus on like full body core strength with squat motions. So it like, you know, there's videos like if you feel like your core and your back are really weak and you throw your back out a lot, they have setups for that, etc., etc. And like I've told you guys before, I have a major injury in my knee that flares up pretty regularly, and I've started doing squat. I mean, I've been doing Squat University now like a month-ish, but I dig it, and there's just all sorts of videos. There's Legal Eagle, but they're all political. They're literally all political, or they're about Mr. Beast, and none of which, I don't know anything about Mr. Beast, and I just don't, I don't have the fucking, you know what I'm saying? I've been watching for Legal Eagle videos. I literally haven't watched them because they're all about the recent politics, and I just, like, I get, like, it's almost like watching a sexual assault. Like, I want to scream and jump on things and make it stop, but I can't. Like, that's the sick, nasty feeling I get in my stomach watching this shit that's going on lately. Do you know what I mean? It's like that gross gut feeling that nothing's good. And it's just too much. I hate it. Full album. Ooh, let me grab. Oh, I'm so sticky. So fucking sticky right now. 100% Vex, and I'm glad he does his job for that reason. I'm not hating on Legal Eagle. I hope they didn't come off that way, because in no way, shape, or form did I mean that. It's just like, this might sound horrifically selfish and terrible of me, but I've gotten to a point where I seriously need to protect my own state of mental stability. And therefore, I have to gently filter the bullshit into my own life. I've actually had a real breakdown before, and I just don't ever want to be there again. It was really fucking scary. And it's like I'm embarrassed to even say it. I'm just gonna say it. I'm fucking embarrassed that I've gotten to the point where my brain, I'm teetering. Like, I can feel my mental stability teetering because of the state of our fucking world right now. And so, to a certain extent, I need to buffer my own self. I think I have a pretty fucking thick skin, but shit's fucked. I'm having a really hard time finding the bright. Where's the light in the room? Where do I look? Like, I don't know where to look. And I wish I was stronger for y'all. Maybe that's what I wish I had a stronger whatever, and that I could do this, and just like, but I can't. It's just like, the world is terrible. It's so terrible. What up, BDO? How are you, love? I make my choice to stay away from the fucked up news. I don't need to know what some fucker did on the other side of the world. Can I just focus? I mean, that's the problem. I mean, so many people can't focus on themselves. Yeah, that's exactly it, Vex. I feel like that cat. That cat emote, that's it. I'm just like, ah, ah, ah. I'm just gonna close my eyes. Just gonna close. Like, it's everywhere. It's all fucked up. Everything's fucked up. Ooh, sharing good news. Oh, this is great news, Mike. Thank you for reminding me. Has-Been Hotel has been picked up for seasons 3 and 4. So, season 2, isn't season 2 due in August? This August? Like, soon? It is. Exactly. I hate it so much. I feel you. I had to cut back as well. It's just cutting back. It's not ignoring it. I feel it's part of being a person in the world. Part of being a responsible person in the world is empathizing and seeing what's going on in the world and not ignoring it. But at the same point, what good am I to anybody if I drown? It's horrible. It sucks. It's a lot. It's a lot. Dude, Has-Been is amazing. I love Has-Been so... Oh, shit, I pulled up a link by Glut. I just remembered. I love Has Been so much. So fucking much. A day made. Ma'am, shut up. Oh, a cover of Zombie. Who's it by? Glut gave us a good one. This is the full album, right? Yeah, this is hold on. Pause. Caravan Palace. Caravan Palace is dank. Let that load for a second. Hold up. You got out on your own mask. Yes. Before you help someone else. Yes, you have to put on your own oxygen mask before you help someone else. Yes. Same with your brain. Protecting your brain is a priority. Very, very much so. And so, I guess, if, like, I encourage all of y'all to try to do the same. Don't feel bad protecting your own self, because at the end of the day, what good are you if you're sunk? You know what I'm saying? There's no point. What good are you to anybody if you've drowned in it? And sometimes I think this crazy psychosis that's going on in the world has a lot to do with that. Can't blame me for a second. I found myself so steeped in confirmation bias that programmed that I no longer have an objective viewpoint about anything and slip into a depression that could easily be an intentional goal of the media. I completely believe it is. Yeah, you have to take care of yourself before you take care of others. And I think that's the hardest thing to do, is to, like, we live in such a world where it's considered selfish to take care of yourself. Unless it's self-care. Self-care, like a face mask and a bubble bath, is totally okay. But taking care of yourself is considered selfish. And it's like, I can't do fuck for anybody if I'm lost. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of number one. On that note,
did you take your joy today?
Take your joy.
Never forget to take your joy, and I guarantee your day will go as smooth as velvet.
I have to go grab a pan to put this on really quick because I forgot. I will be right back. I'll put on Caravan Palace, though. Listen, beautiful music. Okay, question. So, none of the recipes specified whether or not I should put something on the baking pan, the baking tray, before I put the wheat on it. I'm going to, because my baking trays are old and nasty. But would you put tinfoil or parchment paper? Tinfoil? That's what I was thinking too. Cool. Okay. Okay. So like I said, it's a lot of just sitting and waiting for things. So now this weed just gets spread out on this and then sits in the oven at 213 for an hour. To decarboxylate, which, according to Stoner Gump, decarboxylate means to activate the THC with heat, but not so much as to burn it off and destroy the broccoli calories. I already crumpled it all. That's what I was doing while we were talking. I broke it up into, like, nothing's bigger than that minus a stem. But I left the stems and shit in there because why not? It's edibles. That's okay, right? Yeah, it's the decarbing, which is fascinating to read about and learn about. Yeah, leave the stems and stuff in there, right? Yeah, leave stems. Okay, that's what I thought, because I've heard people actually save their stems. I'm just making sure it's broken up enough. They actually save their stems and then make weed butter out of just their stems. Stems and, like, I guess, oh god, shake, wow. It's crazy that this is a full ounce. Like in England, this would be like $500. It smells so lemony. Interesting. It's weird because I've heard that smoking the stems, it gives you a headache, which is why we pull them out. We don't grind up the stems when we smoke the weed, which is why people save their stems, but I don't know why it's different to do this, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, this would be literally more than 500. It's very citrusy. Like musky citrusy though. I don't know how, like yeah. I've never made canna butter before. This is my first time. I'm excited. I just turned the oven on, so I gotta wait for it to heat up. I'll just break this up. I want them to be, what I read, according to Stoner Gump, you want things to be uniform size. So then the heat, you know, does its thing uniformly. Blah, 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 blah. Nope, this is my first time ever. Do I have a sous vide? No. Like a sous vide thing? I have sous vide before, but literally I did it in a plastic bag in water. Wow. Is that mostly just in the North, David, or is that pretty universal prices across the country? Dude, I'm gonna show you the fucking... I haven't touched weed. I don't like to touch weed because of this exact reason I'm gonna show you. It's just so thick. The resin is so thick on my fingers right now, you can roll it up. That's just smokable fucking... What do you call it? Hash? Would you call that hash? That stuff? Ugh. So David says if they were to buy this, and this is an ounce, I already weighed it. If they were to buy this in England, it would be around $500 to $700. That's what English weed is. Fucking wild. Wild. I get an ounce for $60. It's just insane to me. And it's such, I mean, it's weed. Like, god damn it. I used to get about 8 grams for 90 pounds. Oh, that's just, well, so no shit, David. Lizzie lives in the South. And nowhere in particular, don't be weird. But Lizzie lives in the South, and to her, she explained the prices to me, and it's about $500 to $600 an ounce. Before, because she just got her legal card. She just got her medical card. So she was comparing the prices, and she's like, my dudes, I just brought home an ounce for 100, like 80 pounds or something like that. And I was like, wait, what were you spending? That's how much it is. Yeah, what is it in the Netherlands? I don't know. I've never been. I don't know what the Netherlands, like, weed. They have a lot, right? It's a great way to decarb is you can control the temp and not burn the good stuff off. To sous vide your weed, would you put the weed in like a Ziploc bag and then put it in submerge it in the water? That's how you do it? Interesting. It's literally, it's like rubber cement. But I washed the fuck out of my hands. This is just nasty. I think the starch doesn't clear from the stems as much as the flower itself, but not sure. See, I don't know either. My internet poisoned brain can't read the word citrusy without thinking the whole C. Heads up, Zeke is gonna swear there's a Snoop Dogg concert in your house. I warned him. I read that as well. I read the Stoner Gump. I keep wanting to call him Bubba Gump. I read the Stoner Gump thing, and then I went online. I was just reading other recipes to get like the general idea of what decarboxylation was and stuff like that. And one person said, whatever you use to cook all this in is going to taste like weed for a really long time, and your house is going to reek like weed. So I warned Zach that, like, if he smells a bunch of pot, it's not just me smoking it. I did. CJ, I heard all about it. I don't watch the Olympics, but I heard it, and I heard it was really good. And I heard it, Kelly Clarkson sang, and Kelly Clarkson's a goddess, of course. Once this song finishes, I'll play the other video you guys gave me while we wait for the oven. This is the full album, so I was watching it. Dude, Molly, nice. I hope you got some good finds. Oh, contains the smell. That's probably smart. It's really expensive up here in the Northeast. because my city is only 24K, so it's harder to sell and it's more risky. So I was to pay 8 grams was 90 pounds. Wow. So it's probably more expensive now then, huh? Crispy, I did sous vide. It was, I mean, God, like over 10 years. I mean, I don't want to talk about it. Years ago, some years ago, um, I was going through like my phase in my 20s where I thought magic food was real. So I was like, I'm gonna do keto and I'm gonna do paleo and I'm gonna do the Greek diet and all this. So I was like eating steak a lot, and I was looking up different ways to cook it. And I looked up how to sous vide a steak. And no shit, what I did was I like ziplocked it in a Ziploc bag and then submerged it into water that was, I mean, I don't even know if it was barely warm. And then you had like a temperature thing clung to the side of the, I'm not a cook, please excuse me, thing clung to the side of the thing, checking the temperature of the stuff. And it sat there for like 3 hours. But after you did this sous vide, whatever the fuck it was, and maintained the temperature and everything, thermometer, that was the word, thank you. You took it out, you take the steak out, and then you literally like have your cast iron with butter in it, and you just fucking like the highest heat possible, like on both sides of the steak. And to this day, it's one of the best steaks I've ever, I mean, it's probably the best steak I've ever had in my life. Ever. It was meat candy. What the fuck? Holy shit. It was literally meat candy. But it was so much goddamn work. Oh, can you not hear the music? Let me turn it up. Well, it's the song's ending, so now it's really quiet. But it's totally on. I'm so sorry if it was really quiet. This is the video I wanted to balls. Yeah, it totally tracks. YouTube's a douche. I'm just gonna look it up on Spotify. All right. I'm gonna calmly talk from a distance. Am I drowned it out right now? Just talking to you like a normal person? Quiet? Does music need to go up or is music good? No, the world will never equalize levels. It's crazy. Levels are good. Thank you. This is a full decibels, 10 decibels less. No, not even 15 decibels less than where we were at. That was the difference between this and YouTube. I think YouTube compresses quality as well, don't they? I want to say music always sounds better on Spotify, but that could just be in my head. Oh my god. Wait. YouTube has an option for quality premium bitrate. Did YouTube fuck non-premium users? Wow. Ugh, that's... Huh. That is gross. Yes. Yes, Mishy. I could not agree more. That is gross. Fuck them. What the hell? Yep, I think we all just found the issue as to I'm if I seemed dramatic, I have little stickers on my monitor where OBS is always, just so I know where volume points are, because it doesn't make any sense. I think someone was saying that earlier, like, no shit, it's like 0 volume is negative 60 decibels, and then it goes all the way to 0 decibels. But like, I think, so like where we're at right now is negative 35 decibels. It doesn't make any sense, but I have markers on it because it doesn't make any sense to know, like, okay, this is where I want music if I don't care if people hear me or not. We're genuinely just looking to the music and not Katie. Here's where I put it if we're listening to music and Katie, and here's where I put it for background music. And when you guys said you couldn't hear it until it was blast everybody's ears sticker, I was like, no. What? I've never seen it before. I blame it on that new disgusting CEO. He's the reason why we have no dislike counter, and he's also a nutjob horny for NFTs. Oh. People still think NFTs are going to do something? Didn't that go on? Wasn't that? Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't we? NFTs were a scam, right? I thought we were under the. I thought we figured that out. Like NFTs are a scam. Yeah. Like NFTs were just someone was trying to make crypto and make a total scam out of it. People are still into it. Really, NFT bros moved to AI mostly. Gross. Yeah, they're a total scam, but some are still horny for it. Wild. Wild. And now those shit swizzlers. That's, I'm gonna use that shit swizzler. Hardcore AI, great. Another reason to stay the fuck away from AI. First it was custom bitcoins, then NFTs, now AI. They'll move on to something else eventually. They're always in circulation of trying to swindle the common folk. Fucking crypto bros. Yeah. That's them. Yes. I mean, yeah, they are. It's so weird because I remember there was like a really short period of time where it was like every YouTuber that was kind of a skis ball, fuckball, like Jake Paul and his brother, were like creating an NFT. I mean, none of it made any sense to me. None of that made any sense to me. It still doesn't really make sense to me. You're like, the whole crypto, it doesn't make sense to me. So what, this might be a stupid question. How do they make money from the AI point of view? Like, it's a scam. I mean, obviously it's something that's like a grift to make money. How do they make money out of it? I don't want to teach people how to grift. I'm just curious. I don't know. It's the grift economy. All grift all the time. The grift is constantly changing, so they change to the new grift. Awesome. Good morning, Bobo Love. I hope you're doing well. They sell images. Oh, so they sell AI. So they go to. Wow. So they're making money by selling images that were created by an amalgamation of other people's work on the internet. So it's another. Wow. Wow. That is so weird. We are. Oh my God, Bobo, look at this. Actually, I think my oven went off. I'm going to go put this in the oven. I'll run an ad and we can get rid of it because this is going to sit in the oven for like an hour. Yeah, I'm going to reread the instruction, but this sits in the oven for an hour and decarboxylates at 213 degrees. And then when it's done, we're going to put it in butter. So I should probably set a timer to start melting the butter at like 15.2, right? So I'm going to set a timer for 45. Timer 45. Start. All right. Quick break, stand up, get a snack, listen to some dope Caravan Palace. I'm going to go stick this in my oven. Decarboxylate, you silly shits. Whoa, it smells so weedy in here right now. It's wild. Again, it's kind of like eating chicken in front of my chicken right before I put my chicken in an oven. Feels a little offensive. How's the volume right now? I gotta readjust my mental where the fuck volume is now. How is this volume doing for everybody? Hopefully good. Little loud? Okay, we're at 30. How about 37? How about 37? This is my normal voice, normal tone, not doing anything fun. Do you have a Spotify link? YouTube's just being a dick and really, really quiet for some reason. Seriously, Cocky. Interesting. I wonder what the fuck happened. I mean, there was an OBS update yesterday and there's been a Windows update, so I wonder what the fuck happened. I'm so sorry if my audio's been fucked. It's so weird. Oh, might I hate that so much. That's annoying. I'm sorry. This is perfect. Awesome. Excelente. Yeah, it's just YouTube's being a douche. I figure why not? Spotify gives such better quality. There's a permit for you, love. Fox, do you have a story theme? I can tell you a story if you have a theme for one. I mean, I could tell you a story no matter what. I just have to, it'll take me longer to think of one. A story. It's a good story. I grabbed the song. Oh my god, for a second there, I literally was like, wait, why aren't we on Caravan Palace anymore? Because it said Avalanche. Avalanche is a band name. I mixed it up. That was my bad. That's the very beginning of that song. I'm just gonna go back on it and play that real quick. Medical theme? Funny or gross? I don't know what it is, Tari. YouTube is so quiet, nobody can hear it. The quality of the volume is really bad. Gross, 100%. Okay. Let me go through my hospitals I've worked at. I always try to dig for one I haven't told in a while. I have a ton of gross stories, but I feel like, you know, the givens, like the ball sacks and stuff like that, those are pretty gnarly. Oh, dude, have I ever told you about the guy whose hands turned black and rotted off? The music, clarification, I can always hear your voice. Music is low for me. No, that's interesting. I'm glad you told me, because seriously, it just means that something happened. I have everything about 10 decimals higher than they ever are. Decibels, higher than ever before. So something must have happened. Okay. So this is pretty gross. This is gross. This is one of the, I mean, it was just wild. It's a wild story. It's so long and convoluted. So I have a patient in the ICU. And I'm trying to think I think they were older. They were like 86. And he had some sort of lung infection. I don't remember. This has nothing to do with the hands. He had some sort of lung infection or something going on to where he was on a ventilator for quite some time. And when you're on a ventilator, we take care of you. So we have IVs in you, we have feeding tubes in you, we have all this stuff because we don't want you to lose weight, we want you to stay hydrated, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously we have a tube in your mouth. And we actually went to a trach with him, I remember. So he had a trach, so he was really long-term intubated. And this might seem scattered, but the details are what make it crazy. So this guy was 86. His wife had passed away like 5 years prior. His new wife was the 32-year-old nurse who cared for his dead wife. And he was Middle Eastern of some variety that I don't know specifically, and I don't want to be insulting. So he did not speak English. It was very bad language barrier. And his new 32-year-old wife that was his wife's nurse when she died was Filipino and also didn't speak very good English, but he had children who were older than the new wife. And they would be in the room and they would help translate, and they were wonderful and they were great, and they helped us like speak and, you know, communicate with the patient and whatnot. But these language barriers sometimes can be, I don't think it was a language barrier problem, but anyways. So, you know, if someone's in the hospital and they're long-term intubated, we've got all sorts of needles and everything in all your holes, Flexaseal on your butthole, we've got catheters and everything, right? So he had IVs in his hands, giving him medication and whatnot, and we had the Flexaseal on the IVs. And hello, David, how are you, love? Just warning to anyone coming in, I was redeemed a gross story, so I'm telling a gross story, but you've probably heard it before. So he gets trached, and this patient stayed with us for over a year in the ICU, which is $6,000 a night without medicine or care and lights. Like, I cannot fathom what it costs this family to keep their dad in the ICU. But we couldn't let him out of the ICU. He wasn't on a ventilator that long. He was only on a ventilator. It's not kissing. Oh my God. Thank fuck it's not kissing. He was on the ventilator like a couple months maybe, which is why you get trachs. We don't want a tube keeping your mouth open for more than 5 days really, because your teeth dry out and it's really bad for dental care and stuff like that. So we put a trach in him. But what I'm trying to think of the order of events. It's been so long. So essentially what started happening was his hands started to turn black. And the nurses were like, what the fuck is going on? He wasn't here for his hands. There, nothing, like all he had IVs in the tops of his hands, as you usually do, but his hands literally black. They started to necrotize from the wrist down. So of course we started investigating this, and we're like, everybody on the team is like, we have to watch like a hawk. Who the fuck's going in and out of this room? What the fuck is going on? And we started finding this residue. We realized it was there. It was left. I don't know. The nurses found it, but essentially around the Flexaseal bandage that's on top of the IV, we noticed there was like red oil. But we thought it was blood at first. So I'm sure you guys are aware, a lot of older people have really thinner skin that just breaks easily. And so cuts and bruises like that stick around for a really long time and they can bleed. And that can happen just from an IV. It can happen from that, not a Flexaseal, that's what we put on your blood, but the Mepilex, The Mepilex can cause skin tearing. Like as you get older, our skin just gets really, really thin and really fragile. So at first we thought the red residue was blood, like his IV was bleeding. So we were concerned that family members or someone was moving him too much because, if you have a IV right here, you don't want to be doing this a lot. Like if you do move around too much, we'll actually tape a board to your arm to keep your hand straight, because this stuff is going to make that needle go in and out, in and out, in and out, which is just introducing air, bacteria, infection, horrible things into an open wound directly into your arteries. I don't have to tell you that's a terrible idea. So, like, when you have an IV, keep your arms straight if you can, as much as possible. But we were assuming maybe family was in there, like, moving him around or something, because we don't. We know better. Like, we were watching the nurses. There's no nurse in there we weren't aware of. And so, eventually, we send a swab off of whatever this red liquid is to see, like, is there infection going on in the blood? It's not blood. Long story short, it's red oil. Which we don't have like some mystical lab in a hospital that just tests everything under the sun like they show you in all those fucking medical shows. That doesn't exist. Most often than not, unless you're like Johns Hopkins or something, you're going to be sending things off to a lab to get tested separate, like a different building from your hospital, and it usually takes days or hours or whatever. And so they send back whatever we send. They're like, that's not blood. That's all they can tell us. It's not blood. There's nothing in it that's blood. Like there's some skin cells from the Q-tip, but it's not blood. And so we don't have cameras in patient rooms because patient privacy, nudity, et cetera, like obvious reasons, but we do have them in the hallways. And so we started watching the cameras, like who's going in and out of the room. And unfortunately, fortunately, I know that sounds terrible. Medical Katie is speaking right now. Unfortunately, family gets to go in and out as much as they want. If it was up to me, y'all wouldn't be allowed in the unit. Out. I do my job better when you're not here, and I don't trust you not to wash your hands. Because I fuck you not. The amount of times I've watched family go in and out of a room and never wash their hands, after I have literally held their shoulders and said, wash your fucking hands or your family member's gonna die, they still don't do it. It's so infuriating, I can't even tell you. So we start watching the cameras because we want to see who's going in and out of the room. And the person going in and out of the room the most is his new wife. And there's language barrier. I cannot speak to her. Fortunately, though, in Hopkins, we have this really cool thing where every single patient room has a phone, and it's a translator phone. All I have to do is pick up the phone. It doesn't even have a dial or anything on it. You just pick it up, and it'll start ringing, and you'll get someone who speaks English, and you'll say, hey, I need a translator for blank language. And they'll be like, okay, hold on. And someone in the country will pick up the phone line, and there's another phone that person that you can't talk to picks up, and it's literally this person on the line is live translating between you two. It's amazing. It is literally the advent of it's the coolest thing that's ever happened. Being able to just absolutely communicate with people and not struggle through it is the best. So the wife is going in and out of the room an awful lot. And that's all we're not accusing or anything. We just want to be educational. Like, hey, if you're like holding his hand too much, or if you're readjusting bandages or something like that, we'd like to teach you about infection and how this can be a terrible thing, blah, blah, blah. So we watch the cameras and whatnot. And one of the nurses finally, like, on her shift, it's pretty slow. So she's like, every time the wife's in there, I'm just going to go in. Long story short, she ends up not long story short, I don't know the details between. She eventually witnesses the wife take something out of her purse, crack this jar open that has like saran wrap on it, and she's peeling off the bandage that is on the IV and massaging this bright red oil into the IV site. And then tries to put the and of course, before she can get there, the nurse jumps in and is like, I'm so sorry, what are you doing? They get on the translator phone. There's a whole conversation about how this is a healing oil from her country and she needs to put it on the wounds of the IVs so it gets into his blood system so it heals him, etc., etc., etc. I still to this day couldn't tell you what this oil is. I have no idea. She made it at home. It smelled like olive oil. Something made from home, possibly olive oil based, was being massaged into the arteries of a patient. And it literally, I'm not kidding you. The crazy part is we don't even know if the oil really had anything to do with what happened because how? What's sad is that I've told you guys this a million times before, but we have the natural flora, the bacteria all over our skin all the time that causes some of the worst rotting flesh infections that can possibly happen, i.e. necrotizing fasciitis or Fournier's gangrene, whatever the fuck you want to call it, neck fash. That's on you all the time, which is why we wash our fucking hands and scrub our fingernails. But every time, like I said, when you're moving your hand like this, that little needle's just going in and out microscopically and introducing bacteria that could be on your skin or whatever straight into an artery. So essentially what she was doing is introducing oxygen to just a bacterial heaven on this wound over and multiple times a day. Whenever someone wasn't in there, she was doing this. And it quite literally caused his hands to rot. And I wish I could say rot off. But something culturally, and I have no idea what culture, religion, whatever it had to do with, in their life, in their scope. I'm gonna lose that body.
Fuck you.
Can you hear that?
With Satan's cock.
I hope you guys can hear the alerts. Man, you can't. Thank you so much for subbing to the class, keeping the class alive, and giving any swings for 34 months. I fucking appreciate you. Thank you. Dude, it's been so disgustingly hot here. I gave up on yard work for the week. Z, be careful. Drink lots of water. You hear them? Okay, cool. Sick. Okay, anyways. So, his hands started to turn black. But something in their culture was explained to us that you're no longer a man if you don't have hands. So, the family would not let us amputate the hands. And so we weren't allowed to let him go home because he had active neck fash from the wrist down. I mean, literally like fingers shriveled to points, like dead hands. But we can't send you home with are you kidding? So he ended up staying there. I mean, I don't even know. I honest to God do not remember how we finally got him out of the unit, but he was over a year. That we just had to basically give very basic care to this patient because we couldn't give them the care they deserved to have. And he was basically not there at this point. Like whatever infection he had and the anoxic injury that happened to his brain and being on a ventilator and whatnot, he was 86. It did him in. So he wasn't even cognizant to make his own choices anymore. It was so weird. Oh, and he was like a bajillionaire. He was one of those like princesses who lived in Marburg. It was wild. It was fucking wild. Not having hands would be inconvenient, but necrotizing fasciitis also seems inconvenient. I heard all about Satan's cock. I don't know about anyone else. But the conclusion, unfortunately, is that there could be this, let's be honest, this was like 8 years ago, so he's probably not around anymore. But there was just a person with dead hands because their family said they had to keep them. And that, it was like something out of a movie. It was like looking at someone who had dipped their hands in acid or something. So I'd take cyborg hands. What up, Star? How are you, love? Rent come out on Monday, so crash my coins for money so I can eat. On the plus side, my AC, oh, AC again. Thank fuck. Don't cook. Okay, so funny story to balance out. When I was interning as a nurse back in high school, I had to power walk into the elderly patient's room because his heartbeat monitor gave us a notification. When I opened the door, I let out an audible gasp because the amount of nurses I know this exact shit has happened to. I know where this is going. I had to power walk into an elderly patient's room because his heartbeat monitor gave us a notification. When I opened the door, I let out an audible gasp. The reason his monitor sounded off was because this man was jerking off to completion in the bed. This man fucking turned his gaze at me and stared at me like it was nothing. Okay, not that part. Not that part, though. I mean, that's so good. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. This man turned his gaze at me and stared at me like it was nothing. I had to ask my supervisor, who is a nurse, for help, and she laughed, saying, "Welcome to the elderly experience." I love it so much. That's fucking gorgeous. Older people literally have no shame. It's incredible. I had to do an EKG to a lady one time who was very chesticle blessed, and she was like in her 80s, so they were like here now. And so when we do an ECG, we put the stickers along the line of your heart, kind of around your pec. So because her boobies were so magnificent, I was sitting there like delicately, like trying to like get under it, and she literally said, "Honey, swing it over your shoulder." So I did. Not a fucking fuck given. Some of the most magical moments of my life. Someone's titty was here, but they were there. Literally roll them up would have been the next best thing. Some people will literally put the stickers on a boob. You do not get a good enough reading. I don't just move the boob. If I told you like, hey, I can put these on your boob and get a terrible reading, or I can get an accurate reading by moving your boob. Do you mind if I move your boob? Who's going to complain? Oh, Bez Belly was beautiful. It was a great day. Literally, people suck, but the vast majority of my patients were wonderful. People tend to have a great sense of humor when they're just naked with a gown on in a bed and they know I have access to all their holes if I need to. Their sense of humor goes way up. It's great. I love joking with people. Honestly, Rage, I'm kind of the same. I almost feel it's creepier when they're gentle. Like when people are like being delicate with me, I feel like it's kind of like, are we about to have sex? Like, just manhandle me, man. I'm good. I'm the same with getting a massage, man. I don't want none of that like soft fucking like oily Gregorian chant. I love Gregorian chants bullshit going on. I want someone to like use their elbows and knees and break me. Because it just feels kind of intimate. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of stories interning in the hospital because it was only a summer thing. I'm surprised, honestly. One summer's enough. I didn't really want to come back. The only stories I have is the elderly jerker and me carrying a fecal transplant box, having not known it was feces in the box until I discovered it in the op room. That's amazing. There's funny shit in hospitals going on all the time. Like, a lot of the funny shit didn't necessarily happen. Wasn't me doing it or didn't happen to me, but it was something I witnessed. Like, my first time ever doing an EBIS, it's a endobronchial ultrasound. Essentially, we go down with a scope and we look down your bronchial branches of your lungs, and we can take samples out of your like lymph nodes down there, and we can suck out mucus and stuff. It's fucking gnarly, but it's really, really cool, and it's a magical experience. And we do these things called an EBIS, where we do slide samples. If someone thinks maybe lung cancer is an issue or something, we'll do slides of lymph nodes. And you have 2 RTs in the room. One is grabbing the sample from the doc as the doc clips it out of a lung. And then there's another RT just sitting there waiting at a table with all the slides, the microscope, everything, the solution, everything ready to do it. And that RT has to like rapid fire slide it and then physically run to wherever the fuck the pathology lab is in the hospital, because that sample only lives for so long and you want to get it looked at immediately, and then under like whatever conditions they keep those kind of slides on to keep them good. Those are fucking wild to do. But the things that I walked in on in the pathology lab that to a pathologist are normal, like walking in and there's 2 little girls with sledgehammers and goggles and like what looks like dirt bike gear on, and they're standing here and there's some sort of bone on the ground and they're with the sledgehammers and they just do that turn and look at you when you open the door and you're like, I have a slide for patient blah blah blah, and they're like, set it on the table. And you just leave and you have no idea what they're about to do or why they're doing it or why the fuck there's sledgehammers. Shit like that. Pathology is wild. Or like you'll just go in there and there's someone eating a sandwich and they'll set it down and then they'll go to grab their sandwich and reach for the arm that's 2 inches from the sandwich and giggle like, oh, like, whose is that? Why do you have an arm? You know, there's a break room. I don't kink shame. I mean, to each their own. Like, where'd you get the bone, though? I'm genuinely curious. Like, there's just, I've walked into a lot of rooms where I'm like, I don't think I should be here right now. But also, I want to stay and watch. Or like, man, walking in on wound debriding. Because, you know, there's things, it's not like we schedule our day with everybody else in the hospital. We're just walking around doing it. Like, I have a chart that has every single patient of mine, wherever they are in the hospital, and every med they need, their age, their whatever information, whatever disease is going on. And I'm just doing my job. And if there's other people in the room doing stuff at the same time, but I see that I can finagle around them and get what I need to do done, I will. So I'll go in there. If there's like a team of docs in there doing something obviously with a penis, I'm like, whatever, I'm just checking a ventilator. I'll go in, check the vent. And then you look down and you realize that their testicles are in their thigh skin and there is no penis. There's just a gaping hole now. And you're like, and the docs are all congratulating each other on a great job done. And you're like, okay. We're making the butter. The wheat is in the oven right now. I have a timer on it. Actually, what is our time right now? I have a timer on it because it has to be in the oven for an hour. So in 15 minutes, I need to start warming up the butter. Wait, be who for Halloween? That reminds me, I had an appointment with the primary the other day, and he asked my permission to touch me. I was so flabbergasted. Wow, that I thanked him, and he was like, for what? I don't know, for letting me have autonomy, even though I wouldn't have said no because you're my doctor. That, honestly, I think we need to point stuff like that out more often. My mother, former medical transcriptionist, was in the hospital for extreme kidney stone. Ugh. This was over COVID, so the hospital was super overfull and understaffed. She had filled the urine collector, and the nurse hadn't had a chance to empty it. She had asked multiple times for someone to come empty it, but they hadn't. She walked out of the hallway, grabbed a bedpan from the spot next to the nurse's station, used it standing, looked at them and said, I love her. She's my hero. The Danish version of Kingdom? The Danish version? One of my first years of medical career, I walked into a pathology lab and a pathologist was cutting on a leg. It was an amputated leg. A whole amputated leg. Yeah, I've walked in on a full arm. I'm not making that up. It's wild. I said, I see you got a leg up on the situation, doc. He laughed and hit a juicy spot and then screamed, oh my God, my mouth was open. Oh my God, do it, Vissy. Dude, Tallies, I don't know. You have talent. I did finally see an optometrist and buy a new pair of glasses for the first time in 5 years. Dude, nice. I need glasses bad. Someday. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of pukey shit. I was trying to think. I had a family call me the Harbinger one time. That's not really funny. It was the first time someone had really, like a family or a patient's family had said it. The doctors joke about that kind of shit all the time. Like I've told you guys, the ER doc in one of the hospitals I worked at would caw like a raven when I came in the ER and swoop. He thought that was hilarious. But I was called to do a terminal extubation, and I walk in the room, and the whole family is in there, which I think is great. You should, if you can, I think it's good to stay with your loved one while they pass. And as soon as they see me, they go, "Yeah, we can leave. The Harbinger's here," and they all just leave. And I was like, "The Harbinger?" I didn't even know what it meant at the time. I had to go look it up. I was like, "Damn, you guys are heartless." Oh, the better part. So get this. I was trying to think. There was more to this story because I remember this family. So before we did the tests to make sure that they were brain dead, we're not extubating someone who's alive in there or something like that, something horrible. And when we tell the family, there's literally one of them on the phone in the corner, and she's like, "Hold up. The check went through? All right, all right. All right, you can do it." They were straight up waiting for a social security check. Like, that's the only reason we were keeping this poor old person alive for so long on a ventilator, like alive. It was gnarly. Gnarly. Some people are gnarly. Oh, did I ever tell you the story of how I put my finger through someone's brain on accident? It's kind of the respiratory therapist, like one of our main jobs that is, I think no one else other than a doctor can do it, is terminal extubation. So we get nicknames like Valkyries or Reapers or et cetera, et cetera. Think of whatever you want. We get those at every hospital we're at because we're the only person that's allowed, and docs just don't. I've never seen a doc do it. Ever. An experience brought to you by capitalism. Welcome to it. Yeah. Yeah. It's sad that people lack empathy unless it involves someone they personally know. Often it doesn't. If someone doesn't have family in med, you can kind of tell they don't have family in med based on how they treat nurses. Like we're waitresses. Dude, yeah, Caravan Palace. We're making weed butter today, so I don't have anything like videos going that might take my attention away from it because it's kind of a gentle process. My mom was a visiting nurse for the elderly and often found deceased patients in their homes. They wound up calling her the Grim Reaper. Rough. Rough. If anything, she's the Valkyrie. She didn't kill him. She's there to take him off to the good place. That's sad. Any advice for a pinched nerve from the neck's planning? Already made an appointment to have it replaced, moved to a different spot, but gosh, whole arm hurts. So, is it like... This is why I went to a massage therapist. No shit. So, if you feel like numbness, tingling, or just like pain, is it in these two fingers and your thumb, or is it more on this side of your hand? Because that'll tell you which whether it's the ulnar or the radial nerve. But then something Vissy actually taught me that I swear to God seems silly but has seriously helped me is called nerve gliding. And it's literally just training the nerves how to go back, like move the way they're supposed to. And the reason mine get fucked up is I sleep like a raptor. I sleep like this. And it crushes my wrists, and I'm essentially giving myself like a form of carpal tunnel while I sleep, and it kills. It's the pinky side. Okay. So this is nerve gliding, and I swear to you, I do this so much now. You might even see me do it on stream sometimes. But what you're going to do is put your arm down at your side totally straight and extend your hand out as much as you can without pain. Like flatten your hand. You know what I'm saying? Extend, but totally to the side. There's a table right there, so I'm trying to do it. So what you're going to do is slowly raise your arm up with that hand extended like that. The moment you start to feel pain, tingling, that nerve, you'll start to feel it. I mean, literally, you'll feel it kind of here or here, depending on how bad it is. Mine was terrible, literally. The moment you feel it, stop, and then you go back down. then you do it again. And then you go back down. And slowly, as you do this throughout, like as time goes by, mine I can get to about here before it starts to get tingly now. But mine's the same. It's like right this. I can feel it like pinky side. And you'll like just really pay attention to it. And you can feel that nerve gliding. And there's a table right there. I'm really not doing very good. But if you picture it straight out to your side like this, and you're just kind of going up and down with it. No shit, that was me. I'm not kidding you, B. I could go to about here. And I was like, Vissy, are you sure? I can't, like, I literally feel it already. And she goes, That's how bad it is. And it's what my massage therapist told me is a lot of it is just the way we live nowadays. Not in like a hateful, like people need to get it from computers, but everything we do is in front of us and right here. And so all of our emotions are here. And so the nerves and the muscles actually start to kind of muscle memory themselves, and they forget this motion, I guess, in layman's terms. It's wild. She told me when they were in school, they got to see a cadaver that's, I can't remember the name of the muscle, but one of the muscles on the back actually had fused to the scapula because the person had worked at a computer or whatever, had worked some sort of job right in front of them like this for their entire fucking life, done nothing else, did that for like 80 hours a week, whatever, to the point where their body was like, we don't use this anymore. Let's just fuse it in place and we don't have to manage it anymore. So creepy. Yeah, making things too convenient when bodies can handle less than convenient conditions. Yes, it's good to do that. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't do it to this side. I have so much more room. But yeah, if you do that straight out, I'm not kidding you. When I first started doing it, I could get to there. And that whole thing right there would just start to burn. And I was like, wow. And I think about that now when I'm working in my yard and stuff. I think about like, I try not to, how do I put it? I try not to limit myself to motions that are all pushing or all pulling or just like digging on one side of my body. I'm constantly like switching sides with the shovel and stuff like that because I don't want to fuck my muscles up. Because it's just the way we live. Cooks, chefs, everything. It's right in front of us. We've designed counters to be right in front of us. We've made ergonomic chairs. Everything's right here. But your body, I mean, fuck, we can do this kind of shit. I can literally shake my own hand behind my back. But like, why would I do this? So I make sure I can, this is like my personal fitness test. Can I still shake my own hand? Okay. The moment I can't, I know I'm not moving enough. I can still do it. We're good. Balance opposite motions. Yeah. Arthritis in the back caused by moderate degenerative disc disease. Dude, fuck that, Z. Nah. Is there nothing you can do? That fucking sucks. It's adaption. Exactly, Fox. It's adaption. It just sucks because, like, say you want to go on vacation and you're like, let's go on a kayaking trip on vacation. Your body's not going to be able to kayak because you're stuck like this. You can do physical therapy for it. That fucking blows. Can you so if it's degenerative disc, can you get like cadaver discs? I've known people who get that, but I don't know if yours is like your entire spine, so you'd have to get a spine of them. I can do that with a tennis racket. Wait, what? Shake your hand? With a tennis racket? Oh, like you can, yeah, I'm a stretchy. I have that weird hyper flexibility, mobility, whatever shit. That's why I said it's my personal fitness test. Is my personal flexibility test. Like, can I still do that behind my back? Because there's so few things you like do behind your back. I mean, we don't crab walk anymore. Yeah, shorter arms too. Like I'm all arms and legs. I got little arms and a big head. Doing the therapy, sadly, insurance only covers, dude, that's it? That's insane. Insurance is fucked. I lucked out when I stretched and popped my sacroiliac joint. $14 years of lower back pain, and you popped it and it was gone. That's magical and made my butt cheeks clench so hard. You know, Fox, I actually asked one of my girlfriends one time, I was like, how do you shave your legs if you can't just do this straight up behind your head? You know what I'm like? I can, like, you know what I'm saying? I can get, ow, I can get all the way the fuck in there. And they were like, oh, I do it by feel. You, like, sit there and stroke the back, like, with a blade? You're just sitting there, like, feeling for what? That seems really scary. Sacroiliac. Jesus Christ. I don't know why I had such a hard time with that. Thank you, Drakus. Just imitating that made my shoulder go, what the fuck? You haven't done this in ages and you're doing it after a workout day. You numpty dude. It's probably good for you, though. All that lactic acid buildup, especially if you did, like, pec workouts. That's what I notice on me. When my neck and shoulder gets fucked up, it's because my pecs are tight. Because you just, like, when do you really do this and, like, stretch out your tits? Never. But mine's all, like, pec oriented, and it crawls up my neck and causes my neck to be stiff. It's weird. I crab walk in the kitchen every morning. I still run upstairs on all fours, Bezbelly. I'm there with you. Dude, that's why I do things like this. I'm like, dude, as long as I do this, as long as I can do this, I don't feel old yet. But, I mean, Vex, wasn't it this year, if not within the last 6 months, that I learned that not everybody can shake their own hand behind their back? I just learned, like, in my mid-30s, late to mid-30s, that I'm this stretchy form of fuck human that can put their leg behind their head, you know, to shave their leg and shit like that. Like, I thought everybody could do this because I grew up with just a ton of siblings and no other people, and all my siblings obviously can do the same. My sister's the kind where, like, her elbows do go backwards. Do you know, like, her knees do the same? Like, she's got that. I don't have to do that. I don't do that. My joints don't buckle. My hand ones do, I guess. Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that not everybody could do this, and I think I did it on stream, and people were like, Katie, nobody can do that. That's not common. I used to be able to. I feel bad that I can't. I mean, I think it's one of those things that if you don't use it, you literally just cramp down to the point where you're... That's why I had to go to a massage therapist. Like, my pec muscles got so horrifically tight from just not doing any of whatever this is. When do you do this? Why would you do this? Crab walking. Literally, that's it. It was causing, like, all this tightness up my neck that I couldn't even fucking function at all. And then that would cause a muscle down my back on my scapula to hurt. Like, it was weird, but it was this. Oh, that's my butter alarm. These motherfuckers harm us, and they got to go. I gotta get a pan for our butter. I just do a pound. Just. Fuck. I can't stretch every spot in my back, and it... Oh my god. Same. No shit, Beza. Like, every night, it's like a weird thing. Zach takes his shirt off, and then he scoots towards me and goes... And waits for me to scratch his back, because and I just thought he liked it, and he's like, no, it's spots I can't reach. And I was like, you can't reach spots. Again, I just learned that there's this thing called hypermobility that makes it so you can reach your scalp from your back. You know what I'm saying? I baloo my back all the time. The baloo up a corner of the wall, yeah. Hypermobility, I've learned that, Sequarian. Yeah, hypermobility is pretty often delivered as a bonus to the ADHD package. Yeah, it is. Which is, I wonder why. Like, why would something physical, you know what I mean? What's not something people can do? Itch their head like this. I know, I learned that this year, though, David. Not that for lack of, like, it was just, it's not something I, like, do in my spare time, is, like, scratch my neck from behind. And so it's not like someone saw it and was like, ew, what's going on? I just assumed everybody could. Cause dumb kid. I could, but you shouldn't. It's worse. Leave it in. Leave the blade in. Really? That? I'm still learning. Being able to tickle. That's so interesting. I'm still learning. It's weird. Hypermobility camp isn't the greatest though. You can injure yourself really bad, I've learned, and not really realize it because of hypermobility. My sister has a hypermobility thing, but I've got the exact opposite. Can't rotate my forearms all the way around, and some minor. Oh, that sounds like it sucks. I mean, I stretch, but I stretch because I don't want my muscles to freeze up. ADHD and autism are a whole bunch of comorbidities, and some signs of both are more physical than others, like being more clumsily. Pan, butter, go! Thank you. I'm not clumsy. I don't know what you're talking about. Ouch. I don't know why I put that screen on. I just got this. That's probably big enough, right? It better be. Oh my god, Dawn! No shit. I knew someone that had. I've known 2 other people in my life that have that thing. You can't do this, right? It's like these 2 bones are fused, so you literally cannot rotate your hand like this. I've known 2 other people in my life, no shit, that had the exact same thing. And for years, I didn't even notice. They just walked like T-Rexes, but that was like the fashion. And then one day I watched one of these people was a cashier that worked for me. They handed back change like this. Like literally did that. Like over the counter. And I was like, are you a magician? What are you doing right now? Why are you doing? And he literally was like, oh, Katie, I literally can't do this. But he like tried, and like, I was like, oh my God, I'm an asshole. A whole pound of butter. I don't think I've ever cooked with a pound of butter before. Good evening, Srodlid. How are you? Yeah, if you guys remember Clint's Reptiles, he has the same thing. That's melting really fast. Cool down. The only thing I fucking forgot to get at the store is cheesecloth, so I don't know how I'm gonna strain the weed out. Doing that behind the back clasp just makes my shoulders feel huge. Meanwhile, I feel like when I do it, my shoulders like suck into my body. Like when I do this guy, they're so double jointed, I can kind of make it look like I'm just boobs. Oh shit, I might have coffee filters. I have like one of those colanders that's like wire mesh. That's pretty fine. That can definitely be our first attack. Okay, I just have to get that liquid, but not so hot. Yuck. How y'all doing? Oh, Sronlin, no. I know. If Paula Deen wasn't such a racist piece of shit, I'd make more Paula Deen jokes, including with this butter. Because you gotta add a stick of butter, and then a stick of butter. And then you gotta put a stick of butter up your ass. She turned out to be a fucking... Did I tell you guys? Oh my god. There's a YouTube channel by Ancestry.com. And they have celebrities do their ancestry, and then they help them, like, hunt down their family. And they had Paula Deen on there, and I shit you not, they were doing her, like, her ancestry, and it... We're all colored fucking shocked when I tell you that her ancestry led straight to, like, famous, prolific slave owners and a plantation. And her response was, what I see here is a man doing what he had to do to be providing of his family. Like, and this was years after the N-word incident. Like, she just doesn't see it. And I don't think there's any helping. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest, having two bones twist over each other is a very odd design. It really is, though. Human design is odd. Like, we're these upright, naked, weird mammal creature. And did you know that we're the only creature on Earth that has boobs all the time, not just when we're breastfeeding or pregnant? Every other mammal only gets titties to feed its children. We're the only ones that, like, you want titties all the time? Mixy mix. I mean, boobs are awesome. They are a bonus feature, though. It's just odd. Like, if you think about how we probably look to the rest of the animal kingdom, we probably look real weird. Elephants, do they have boobs all the time, or is it just when they're breastfeeding? I don't know. I don't know a lot about elephants. That's one of the things I'd highlight as, do not change. Is an udder considered a boob? That's a really good question. I know they don't produce milk without being preggers, right? I don't think they, like, I think you have to get them, you have to keep making them pregnant, which is where the veal industry came from, to make them produce milk. But is an udder a tit? Like a boob? That I'm genuinely curious. I'm not just being, like, devil's, like, I genuinely am like, what's an udder? It's like one boob with a bunch of nipples. I don't, what is it? Yeah, they're not huge until they're pregnant, but they do have udders, right? When they're not pregnant? I don't know. I've never hung out with milk cows. Dude, look at my crazy muscle. Just kidding. But wouldn't that be sick? Wrong side. Utterly ridiculous. Jesus Christ. How's my butter? Oh, shit. Nope, we're good. It's so much butter. What am I going to do with all this butter? It's so much butter. It's a lot of butter. I don't go through this much butter in a month. It's crazy. I mean, for a cat, it's a thing where their udders are just nipples and less kittens. Yeah. And I think everything has well, no. There are some, what are they called? Like echidnas and shit, they don't have nipples. They just seep milk out of their belly skin, which is just altogether a mess. They're like a weird outliner, but they have nipples, but no boob. Wait. I love this song. Oh my god. He did a cover of Walk Like an Egyptian. Okay, we're gonna have to see that. I'm letting it load. Everything was auto-playing. What up, Taco? How are you? We're making weed butter. I'm just melting my butter. Look at all that butter. Thick milk. Ew. I gotta look up what temperature to keep it at. I should probably temp the butter, right? $160 to $200. Okay. A heifer, a female cow that is not a calf, does not have noticeable udders until they're inseminated. Really? So they just have those wiggly ass nipples? Adult female elephants have 2 breasts or mammary glands located between their front legs. When a female becomes pregnant or is nursing her young, her mammary glands become more prominent, remaining more noticeable even after she's done breastfeeding. This is a telltale difference between male and female elephants. Oh my god. Elephants are aliens. I think they're like octopus. Because on top of that, they're like hyper intelligent and remember people and all that shit. Fill me up, buttercup, baby. Mature cows already have a fully developed udder, so there will be no change in the physical structure of her mammary organ as mammary organ. And think, dude, take this into context. Mammary organs are just modified sweat glands. So, like, an udder is a sweat gland. Amazing. Cows will also not begin to fill up with milk until they're showing signs that a calving is imminent. However, a cow that's pregnant and still has a calf to suckle will continue to produce milk until the calf is weaned. With dairy cows, when they successfully conceive and become pregnant, they will continue to lactate until they're dried off. So they can lactate indefinitely if you just keep milking them. Taco, happy Satan Saturday. Hail Satan Saturday. Cheers. Thank you for the biddies. Weird. Geck, I didn't know that. We just learned today. So is the term sweater puppy not a reference to the article of clothing? Wait, is there an article of clothing called a sweater puppy? Because I thought a sweater puppy was a boob. You remember those dinosaurs that had the dome head? We always thought that they rammed each other? Yes. The dome is made of keratin. Way too soft for that. It's a mating thing. Stop it. It's a head boob. That's a head boob, because that's all boobs are, is like a look at me and my fertility. That's a head boob. Okay, I need to get a temperature thingy, and I think the weed's almost done, so I'm gonna go check it. Oh, well, yeah, that's a sweater, but like a sweater puppy makes me. It doesn't feel like a Saturday. It feels weird. Yeah, it's literally like, hey, look, I'm healthy. Look at my dome, mate with me thing. It's boobs and hips. That's all they are. That's fucking great. I know. Look, I'm a bobblehead, man. I got a big head, so I'm just kidding. I don't want to mate though. Smells like weed. Shit. Open. It's actually pretty good. This one? Isn't that pretty great? She's hot. It's very weedy. And my kitchen is very smoky. Oh shit, hold on. You guys can't even see it. I'm just pouring the weed into butter. A lot of butter. I gotta get something to stir it. I did a full ounce. I managed to save I've managed to save a full ounce and a little bit. It fucking stinks. It looks so gross. It looks like thickening, I don't know. Yuck. But there it is. It's happening. It just looks gross. So that just literally sits there now for like 3 hours. So we got it in at the perfect fucking time. And every 30 minutes for the next 3 hours, I have to make sure to stir it at least a little bit to make sure nothing's like sticking to the bottom or burning. Yay. It does kind of look like making herb butter, but there's none of the good smells associated. Like, I don't want to eat this. Like, there's nothing appetizing about the way my house is scented at this current time. Whereas normally you'd assume to smell like, tarragon, or I almost said tarragano. That's a new one. What was I doing? Timer. Or no, 30. Excuse me. Not 15. God, that'd be excessive. All right, every 30 minutes, I must stir that bitch. Wow, that smells strong. Perfect and gross. That smells good. Wow. Should it smell stronger once it's in the butter? Cause or maybe it's just because I took it out of the oven. I bet it's that. It's you. This is definitely the ClassyKatie version of a domestic Dan stream, for sure. Listening to Caravan Palace, cooking something questionable, lies in the freezer. I was trying to think of a game or something we could play since YouTube's being a douche. I downloaded a couple, or installed, I should say. One of them I think Glut gave me ages ago. It's called Kiwi, and you actually play a kiwi, like the bird, and you solve puzzles, and it looked really cute, but it looked like something that's easy to pause to stir that every 30 minutes. And then there was one other one. What was it? I do too. Actually, I had more. Wish YouTube Wasn't a douche all the time. Pause. We had another thing to hear. Where is it? Was it this one? Oh my god, the guinea pig. Was that the one that I was trying to get to load? Oh my god. I want that life. I just want to be a raked potato. I don't have one that's old dude muscles. Throw that one at me. I must have not grabbed it or it didn't work. Honestly, it's kind of like I'm the same with books in that I don't really have like a genre or anything that it is like a sell-all for me. It really has to do with the publisher and shit. Like, for instance, anything that Supergiant has ever made. Ever. Supergiant's perfect and I love them. I genuinely have just enjoyed it. And I think it's the music, the art style, the atmosphericness of it. I tend to stay away from games that have either shit tons of dialogue I have to read or listen to. Because I just straight up don't have the patience or tolerance for it. I get bored really, really goddamn fast. Control was perfect. That game is so good. Oh, we're stirring it. Do you want to see it? We're on the countdown now. That's a pound of butter with an ounce of the broccoli. It's gross. It stinks. But I'm kind of watching it because I'm trying to get the right temperature. I don't want it to boil. And now it literally just sits here for 3 hours. Not for you, Bubba. This hot plate's finicky. It gets really, really hot. Dude, Kenny, hard same. Control is one of the best games, if not, I mean, it was goddamn everything. I love that game, and so many people really don't like it. Animal, what the fuck? Yes, David. Music volume's been kind of fucked all day. We realized there's probably been an update or something. OBS had an update like 2 in the past month. And there was something else, so we've actually been playing with audio all day. So if it's ever overpowering me or too loud, please let me know. I don't want to watch animals get gored. Wait, the reason I play is to watch... Oh, do the animals gore people? Because the reason I watch it is to watch people get gored. I don't want to see animals get hurt. Cool, so animals aren't getting hurt. We're on... Yeah. Oh, sick. That's where I'm at with that one. That's what I want. I think I own it. Which... Oh, I have Mortal Kombat X Complete Edition. Mortal Kombat Complete Edition, excuse me. And Mortal Kombat 11. Not that one. You know what I thought was kind of a bummer? I was watching I guess you would say like a competition or whatever of Mortal Kombat the other night, and they don't play any of the fatalities or any of the final moves because apparently it's considered insulting to the other player. I find that very insulting to the artists who designed all those cool graphic deaths because they're the best part of the fucking game. What? I think it was the powers were confusing and hard to get through. They said something about like the telekinesis just didn't jive with them, I think. We were just talking about it recently. I'm trying to think. It's fighting game etiquette to not, I mean, okay. Little baby sweet boys. What Precious is. Same. If you beat me, I want to see the fatality. I want to see my spine ripped out. That's the only reason we play the game. Are you kidding? It seems like such a waste of time. You don't think so, David? I'd be a little sad if people considered something I dedicated years and years and years of my life to designing insulting to play on a big screen. I'd be like, okay, that's fine. I just, got paid to make that. I guess it's rude to show off my work. I don't know. I just love the fatalities and want to see all of them. Fatality. Why do I say fatality? I feel like I'm making fun of it. The video keeps skipping to the end like an ad blocker is trying to hit it again. I was trying to go back to it. Do you know what the oh wait, maybe I found it. I was trying to get back to the timestamp because it just is a black screen. Did I get it? Okay. It's almost time to stir, so I'm just going to stir it. Stir, stir. Sick. Thank you. So when I first went out, or when I first took a break, I went and stirred it a little bit and I smelled it and I'm like, man, it smells like butter. I didn't really smell weed. And then I went out with the dog and I came into the house and I was like, whoa. Nope, I'm just inoculated. It is so fucking weedy in here. My alarm's gonna go off in 30 seconds. Yeah, it's very earthy. Yes, very, because I left the stems and everything in there. It's insanely earthy, exactly, which is wild. It's like earthy and very citrusy. Pussy. It's very citrusy as well, but only before, in the jar, it's citrusy. Where's that jar? Yeah, it's like musky citrusy, and now it's like the most earthy, earthy, herby, weedy. And then when you get really up in it, it smells like butter. There it is. Restart. But my biggest worry is it's going to get too hot and it's going to start burning the weed, and that is not what's supposed to happen. I'm scared. It'd be such a waste of weed. I did. I thought I replied. I'll check it. Will Discord open for me today? Yes, Discord's been great. Oh, thank God. Oh, I didn't hit send. That's on me. I've done that twice this week. That's on me. This is my first time ever making canna butter, yeah. In the past, I've found I'm very hit or miss when it comes to edibles. And it doesn't matter on the dosage or anything or what form it is. I don't know why, but edibles are I've eaten a 250 milligram chocolate bar and got nothing, nothing. I felt nothing forever. And then I've had a microdose, 4 milligram hard candy and gone to fucking space. Yeah, it's the delay. The delay scares me as well. But I figure if I'm making my own canna butter, I know exactly how much weed. I know an ounce of weed is in there. I can kind of guesstimate how many milligrams is this, and I can dose my own edibles to be very small amounts. Because the delay, and not only the delay, David, I don't like the idea that it could last indefinitely. I don't want to be high for days and days and days. I love smoking and just hitting my bong, getting high for 2 hours at the most, and then being fine. but being high for days and days and days, like I've literally taken an edible before that was like 5 milligram gummy and woke up high 2 days in a row from the same gummy. And I don't like that. It doesn't make being high fun if you're always high. No shit. First time I ever made my own cookies, I lost 8 hours of my life. Oh, I'm scared. I don't know what THCP is. Oh, Hikaru. I don't know, man. Speaking of bong, I need a load of bowl, actually. Cheers, though. Post cheers. You know, I've never tried a THC edible before, but I've heard good things. Senor actually is like consuming one, I think, right now, right? Yeah, I mean, and I don't know if it's metabolism or whatever. Like, I've thought about it, with my own very mediocre science brain, and like, it kind of makes sense when I think about it. Like, a hard candy hitting harder and faster makes sense because it's being absorbed sublingually and like by your mucous membrane of your mouth, which goes directly into the bloodstream and directly to the blood-brain barrier, versus if you're just swallowing something, like you're chewing and swallowing and eating something, that THC has to survive your stomach acid and bile and all of that, and then get into your intestines and then be absorbed into the bloodstream. And that's where I think that delay comes from. It all depends on, have you eaten that day? What have you eaten? How fast is your metabolism? Have you shit? Like, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, Hikaru, honey. I hope things get better, because that's fucked. Really? How it absorbs fast enough. It's kind of in between edible and smoking. I might have to try one. I like to make small batches of fudge with mine. It's super easy. See, and I got this stuff to make Charleston chews because I figured it calls for a ton of butter. And it's kind of the similar idea. It's like a really low, slow bake. For the duration of it, 10 milligrams is actually a pretty good dose. For the duration, yeah. THC drinks hit faster than food edibles and they wear off faster. Your body deals with it about the same as alcohol, to be honest. I would prefer that, honestly. I know we have them around here. I've just never even tried one. I kind of gave up on edibles for a really long time, honestly. What inspired me to do it was I had all of this weed I grew myself. And, like, there's never a time in my life that I have more than an ounce of weed to just, like... Are you simmering? To put in butter and let it do its thing. And so now that I do, I was like, why not? And then Gluck got me that fucking Stoner Gump book. I left my door open, so if I do that, it's because I hear my dogs outside. Just trying to get a little bit of the weed smell out of the house, because it is ripe. The smell. Do they smell like a Heineken? My THC gummies are fun. I got to take half because the 20 milligrams sent my ass into a 2-day high. That happened to me on 10 or I think, I want to say it was 5 milligrams. It was a little gummy. I also had a package of these crispy blunts a friend gave me that went to work the next day. Like 100 milligrams? No, I'd die. I'd be dead. I always thought Heineken smelled like weed. For some reason, Heineken just smells intensely weedy to me. Like almost kind of like this, like an intensely herby weediness to it. And it doesn't taste like it though, and I don't want to drink it, but it smells like it, which is weird to say because it's weird to say a beer smells, but I think you guys know what I mean. What else you've eaten? That's exactly that's what would hit me. Is like, did I eat that day? Did I not eat that day? Have I drank enough water that day? They smell like chemicals that got sprayed with fruit-scented air freshener. Fuck that. That sounds disgusting. I'm by no means a chemist biologist, so correct me if I'm wrong, but based on my general knowledge about food cooking is that there's oil, fat, and any kind of chemical compound. It will deliver it slower as it takes your liver longer to separate the oil molecules from whatever active ingredient you're using, such as THC. Yes, and I think it's a slower, more even high versus if you make edibles with tinctures, which are not oil-based. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is just what I've heard and read. Oh, really? Hops have the same terpenes and are also cannab... Cannabis, you know what? Cheers. Cannabasai. Okay, I was gonna say Cannabakai sounds like the fucking vampires from Xena. That didn't sound right at all. Is it Bakke or Bosset? Boss I. God damn it, which one is it? Now I don't know. It's Cannabukake now. The music's probably really low for you guys. I think I moved it down too low. Hi, Chris. How are you, love? Basie. I'd go with that one. Greek is interesting because it's kind of phonetic, but it goes against like a lot of American English norms, I guess. I base this knowledge on vitamins. Water-soluble ingredients act fast and are peed out. If you have too many of them, non-water-soluble ingredients can build up and should be monitored way more carefully. See, I was taking it from like a metabolic standpoint, like a molecular standpoint. Like from what I remember from taking classes about the digestion system is that fats and proteins are considered macromolecules because they're enormous and they take the longest amount of time to break down and digest completely, to break down into a digestible form, which would mean they would digest at a slower rate. But also, if they're in the stomach longer because they take a longer time to digest, would that mean there's more of a chance of the THC breaking down? I don't know. Good, we're making weed butter. I'm like nervously checking it every 5 seconds because it's behind me and it's the first time I've ever done it. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. We have 2 hours left. 2 hours and 20 minutes. Ish. Honestly, it should be done right at end of stream, like 10 minutes after 3. I put it in literally at noon, almost exactly. I've never liked IPAs, which is weird because I've been told they smell like weed. And that like people who like weed like IPAs, but for some reason I think they're kind of like I don't like the smell of beer though. The smell, taste, beer doesn't get me. Beer reminds me of all my drunkles every holiday and every family gathering growing up. I have a feeling someone might be downloading a game because my internet's moving really, really slow. Hold on, I'm gonna close some shit we've already watched. Close. Like that link that you gave me, it's just not loading, but yeah, my internet's taking a dump. There went my music. I'm gonna do a speed test. I forgot it's Saturday. That's why. Fuck. You're right. I mean, it was a good day for cooking, but also, like, I forgot. Stupid me for forgetting. I mean, one day a week. Come on, Katie. I can think of something to do. The speed test, yeah, it just killed all of my... I'm gonna close some links. Hold on. I have a lot of shit open I don't need. I don't need that pomelo. What's a Radler? Is that a drink? Certain beers are meant to smell super dank. Like dank like weed. Yeah, my download's terrible. Sick. I'm a sucker for margaritas, I'm gonna be honest. Snake bites are delicious. Oh, it's beer and lemonade. Yum. I had something that was kind of a similar idea when I lived in Maryland. It was at the Renaissance Fair. They have snake bites, which are half Guinness and half cider, and because one's really light, a lot lighter than the other, the glass separates, so it's like a half black and a half, cider looking drink, and when you sip it, you get a little bit of both. It's kind of magical. But then they had this one that was cider and mead. Both of which I'm not a huge fan of, but when you put them together, it was almost like the perfect mix. It added the fizzy to the mead that the mead it needed, and it like mellowed the mead's sweetness down. But I'd be into that, yeah. Radler's is the German name. I'm sure we have some dumb American name for it somewhere. Fuck, I'm so sad my internet just pooped. Well, let me see. What do I have? I mean, we could play a game while we stir weed. Trying to think of something that I could pause. I have Hades. We could do Hades 2 runs. Have they updated? Did they update shit? 3 days ago, but I don't think that's a big update. Grapefruit? Yum. That's I don't know how to say that name, but I've had that one before. Hi, Manage Can. That's beautiful. I like that emote. There's a place near me that does passion fruit margaritas. Are really good. Yeah, I like tequila. I'm one of those. It's never made my clothes come off. I don't know. Tequila doesn't fuck me up the way. I mean, some people get like violently ill on tequila, and that's never happened to me before, thankfully. Leinenkugel. See, I would have said linen, like the fabric, like a dumbass. Let me see. Fuck the internet. Even Steam's being slow. You're a sassy goddess, you. What up, Mello? How are you? Hi, Sylv. How are you doing? Linnies? Oh, nice. That's easy to say. I like Linnies. I'm gonna go with that. It's like, I mean, unless someone had said Yingling, I would have never known how to pronounce Yingling in a million fucking years. I heard someone was saying this, I think in chat the other day, that like Wisconsin is like, they drink a lot. Is that it? Ooh, Spotify loaded. That's a good sign. Come back, Spotify. Just give us something. Anything. The existential silence is horrible. Is it a thing? I think it's kind of funny because my dad's buried there, even though he never lived there, because his mom was buried there, and he died of raging alcoholism. So it's kind of like poetically appropriate. I've never seen The Grave, but since learning that, I've thought like, oh, tee hee ha ha, that's funny. It's just very much a thing. Yingling is the oldest continuing operating brewery in the US. Is it really? Honestly, Yingling is one of my favorite like piss beers to have on a summer day when you just need something that's like cold and slightly unalcoholic, not really alcoholic. Their cheese, I've had Wisconsin cheese. I remember when I was a kid, I was literally like 4. It's crazy that I remember this, but my dad went to Wisconsin to visit his mom and came home with some Wisconsin cheese curds, and I ate them, and they were like, it was like having what's the word? Like having an egg. I had like a spiritual experience with these cheese curds. Summer shandies. That's what they're called when it's beer and lemonade here, right? It's a shandy. That sounds familiar. Thank you. It is. It's like a nothing beer. It's just like fizzy summer beer. Really doesn't have a flavor. Really doesn't have anything to it, but it's delicious to have with other things, like salty stuff. Yingling Porter's awesome. It's their dark beer. We had it at the bar I worked at in college. I don't think I've ever had anything but like, I don't know, whatever the generic, like what's their just Ying, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I bought beer. I'm desperately trying to reload these links. Please excuse me. Sadams can be very hit or miss. If I'm going to go for like, I guess you would say a domestic, I usually go for Blue Moon. Something just drinkable. And I get so full on beer. One beer makes me feel like bloated beyond reason. I'm just like, oh my God, it's more food than I usually eat in a day. Like the volume, I think. And I don't know what it is. beer just makes me feel ridiculously full. And so if I want to eat at all, I will not drink beer because I just know I won't be able to, and I hate that. Yeah, like those wheat Belgian ale kind of beers, they have a flavor, but it's not overwhelming. Like IPA, I don't know what it is. I've never liked IPA. It just is so rank to me. It's so hoppy. The fullness, right? And like my problem is I like stouts. Those are my favorite flavored beers if I'm gonna have one. Like flavored. That's not the term, but you know what I'm saying. Like an oatmeal stout or something. I love that. Or like a Scotch ale, and those are the most filling. It's like drinking a glass of bread. And I drink half of it and I'm like, it's liquid bread, thank you. That's literally what it feels like. And I just feel so fucking full afterwards. I hate it. I hate that feeling. And then I'm hungry because I haven't eaten anything. Oh no shit, the Yingling family sold out to Anheuser-Busch. I think the family's also raging Republicans, so don't bother with it anymore. Oh, fuck them. Cheese curds are also an upstate my thing. The Amish that live up this way make great cheese curds. Oh, I'm jealous. Very jealous. If you ever find Smithwick's, it's a well-rounded one. If you like Red October, that sounds really familiar. No shit, I did homebrewing and had 4 taps in my basement. That's fucking impressive. I don't drink very often either. I do enjoy a nice beer though once in a while, especially with a meal or something. I've had a good Irish ale. I can't remember. I think it was like an Irish red, and the name, did it start with a K? I'm digging in my college days from being drunk, and it's really hard. Killian's! Holy shit, is it Killian's? It actually has a horse on it. Wow. Good job. Oh, that was it. I probably haven't had one of those since I was 21. That's wild. I do remember enjoying it. Yeah. Good girl. Oh, cheers to brain power. That was it. I'm really impressed the fact that I pulled those details out of nowhere. Didn't get the word, but I got everything else. That one's a good one. Scotch ales are really infrequent, but my college town has a brewery called Boundary Bay Brewery. And sometimes in restaurants around the Pacific Northwest, you'll find Boundary Bay Brewery beer. And if you, that's a tongue twister. But if you find their Scotch ale, it's phenomenal. Oh, no shit. Oh, okay, Viata. All right, off the table then. I understand. The owner of Yingling donated to Trunk's 2016 campaign. There you go. Yeah, so sounds like Yingling is the piss beer we should not count on. Surly Darkness, you probably like it. It's a Russian Imperial Stout. Yes, I would like that. Yep, I know. That's like one of those, it's like, well, I guess we lost a piss beer. Like, is anyone actually sad? Are you hot enough? This is anxiety inducing. Yeah, right, like Blue Moon, I guess. Here we go. Oh, no shit. I knew what you were talking about. 100% Viata. He drinks that. He thinks it makes him super edgy and cool. Wait. So he's one of those that never moved beyond that. Wait, guys, let me grab my beer. Now take the picture so I can put it on Facebook and everyone knows I drink beer. Like when you're like a child. Another one I like is Mac and Jacks, but I think that's another one that's Pacific Northwest specific. If you ever see Mac and Jacks, I think it has a lion head on the label. If I remember correctly. Samuel Smith beers. I don't think I've ever seen those. Best strong ale. Oh, will it load? Will it load? It's like a game. Oh, Arrogant Bastard. Dude, isn't that in Seattle? Is that Elysian Ale? Is Arrogant Bastard its own thing? I don't remember. When I was in college, people loved Arrogant Bastard and Elysian Ale. It's from Stone. Is Stone in Seattle? Elysian is, I think. One of them is. It's been a long time. But I've had some good ones from them. I've had a good oatmeal stout, I think, from Arrogant Bastard that was pretty tasty. Oh man, when I learned that Molson is trash beer in Canada, I was so sad because Molson's so tasty. If you've ever had Molson or they have another, it's Molson something. I can't remember. It's like a step up from the basic Molson. It's another good like pissy beer, but like in a good way. Every time I get a whiff of butter, I'm like, is it deep frying? Thank you, Liam, for the raid. I appreciate you. Oh, Stone from California. Okay, I was thinking the wrong one. What's Labatt? That actually sounds familiar. I've never heard this one from Starcadian. Oh, I've heard, I mean, oh, absolutely. We drank that in high school. That or, Natty Ice. That might be it. BCC, I'm not shitting you. It might be Molson Labatt or whatever. I just remember we'd go up, I went to school right on the border of Canada, so we'd go across the border just to buy a few cases of Molson to come down. And then we went to this was like, God, it was so long ago. We went to a hockey game up in BC, up in Vancouver, and we went to some bar beforehand, and they had the beer prices, and it was like domestic versus imports. And of course it's backwards because you're in Canada, so like a Budweiser is more expensive than the Molson. And the waitress came over to our table and asked us what we wanted, and we were like, well, of course we're dumb Americans, so we're kind of looking in shit. And she goes, oh, just don't get Molson. And we were like, okay, but Molson's like better than most of the beer in America, so embarrassed. Natty's a gateway beer. It is a piss beer. Natty is how I learned to shotgun a beer. That shit is so gross. But it's basically the same as Steel Reserve or any of those. Just, piss. I don't even remember what it cost. You could get a case for like $11 or something. Not even. God, it was so cheap and disgusting. And it tasted, like the stale beer your dad left in the garage and you found 3 days later and you're like, fuck it, whatever. But it tasted like that cold and fresh. Almost a little malt, like watered down malt liquor. Me neither, David. I have. In the past, like, 5 years, I think I've gotten drunk twice. Not drunk, like a buzz off of a drink or whatever. And every time I do, I'm like, meh, I'm good. You know what I learned? Crazy. So, that inevitable 2 a.m. kebab, pie, burger, burrito, whatever your town had and served at that given time. You know that inevitable meal you had after a night of drinking? I'm here to let all of you know it tastes just as good sober. It's incredible. That changed my life. I was like, wow, I don't have to drink myself into oblivion for this to be awesome. Sick. That was great. Me too. I'd way rather have a bowl or a blunt. 100%. It's so much more relaxing. It doesn't ever make me feel like shit. My dad drank Michelob Light or Coors, and if you got a lime lemon wedge anywhere near his beer, he'd take it off and throw it at you. Does the smell of that bother you now? Because that's what I find with all of that, like Bud, Miller, any of that beer that kind of has the same like pissy taste. All of my drunkles and my dad drank that shit their breath was just hot beer. And to this day, when people drink it, it makes me sick. The smell of it on someone's breath is just nasty. It's hot beer. It's so gross. Yeah, it's not good, and that's all I can think about. A friend of mine had a terrible tasting well water at his house, so he just gave a ton of natty ice. And if you wanted water, he'd give you a beer instead. I mean, natty ice is close. It's close. We're close. It's close. I used to be a craft beer IPA guy. I've never liked IPAs, but I mean, I'll try a good, if someone's like, this is the best beer I've ever had in my life, and they're a beer connoisseur, as long as it's not like an IPA or something, I'll try it. But most of the time, I'd rather fill my belly up with fries or something. Oh, no shit. Oh, man. My mom has told me crazy stories. I mean, this was when she was young and shit, like no judgment. Addiction is horrible, and she was in love with my dad. But she would tell me stories about how like they would create rules. Like once he got fired from his job for being drunk, when he was home, he could drink Budweiser until noon, and that's when he was allowed to start drinking hard alcohol. So like my dad would wake up with beer, and that would just be his smell until noon. And then once noon hit, he'd crack open a half gallon of vodka, and that'd be gone by 9 p.m. And those two smells to this day are just unpleasant for me. Pervasively unpleasant. He didn't follow those rules because alcoholism is a horrible, horrible, horrible disease and so hard to fight and like just the worst. And my mom said she would find hidden empty half gallons of vodka like in the wash machine or in the dryer or like on the back porch or something. Like wild. Alcoholism is fucking terrible and horrible. And it's just toilet, it's no shit. Just the most bizarre places hiding like empty bottles and stuff like that. It was very odd. The smell I associate with my dad's was cigarette smoke and oh my God, Old Spice. The original one though, right? Like the white, it was like a little white, I think it was ceramic, like a white ceramic jar with a red pop lid. Same. I can still picture it in the medicine cupboard. It's so weird. My dad died when I was 7. Alcoholism sucks, man. Addiction sucks. It is absolutely a neurodivergence our country does not want to face or deal with in any way, shape, or form. They'd rather ship people out of a city to look pretty, and it's disgusting. There's different levels of alcoholism. I mean, it sucks. It was like a case of my dad had like a functioning level of alcoholism until he got fired from his job. And then from that point on, it was like he didn't have a reason not to start drinking first thing in the morning, so he just did. Yep, the white ceramic bottles with the tiny hole. I loved that smell. I still love it, and I feel like it's gone. Like all that Old Spice is now is like tropical fuck thunder or something, and it smells like Axe. Like where's the original shit? Is it still out there? Cuz that was the best. Oh, curmudgeon. I'm so sorry. I feel and I it's bizarre, but the older I get and the more I have like more friends across the globe, crazy because of this, but like I find that there truly is one in every family. Almost. I must stir my pot. Literally. I'm an idiot. I stirred the pot. In the pot. Do you get it? I'm amazed as I get older, finding out my friends were going through similar crap at home and we just never talked about it. Same. I've actually been having those thoughts a lot lately, curmudgeon. It's so weird. Just these thoughts of like, when I was a kid, my most like, I'm so sorry. I'm not an idiot. Space cadet sometimes. I shouldn't be mean to yourself. Like I remember as a child, my main prerogative was like surviving the day without anyone knowing what the fuck was going on the inside of me. which was an indefinite result of what was going on at home. And it was just like slowly knitting the patchwork of the mask that would become myself the rest of my life. And thinking on it, like literally recently, I've been thinking about this a lot. Like, we were all probably doing that. And if someone had just taught us it was okay to talk about it, maybe we wouldn't have had to do that. And I'd be a completely different person. Not in a bad way. I don't know, though. Because I would have had, I would have communicated with people and been like, oh, I'm not completely isolated and alone. Like, almost everybody's going through the same bullshit, a different flavor of it maybe, but still the same fucking bullshit. But it's the, shh, don't talk about it. Don't tell anybody. Keep it shush shush. Like, everything's such a secret. 40 days now without a cigarette. Fuck yes. I make no promises. Running out of paint. Dude, I totally get it. The world is, I don't encourage picking up deadly habits, obviously, and I don't think anime or anyone else would as well, but there's a line in, this is a beat, right? This is Starcadian still. Starcadian's amazing. This is Here Be Dragons, boy. I forgot what I was going to say. It died. Oh, nope, I forgot what I was going to say. Damn it. Cigarettes, smoking. Oh, I don't encourage smoking. That's what it was. I don't encourage smoking or picking up like a deadly like habit, potentially deadly, I should say. But there's a line in Practical Magic, the original one, where Nicole Kidman and the sisters have just done a bad thing and they're in the car together. And Nicole Kidman lights a cigarette and her sister looks at her and goes, you shouldn't smoke those. And Nicole Kidman goes, are you kidding me? I should smoke 2 at once. It'll shorten the sentence. And I don't know, the last year or so I've been thinking about that a lot. But like, I don't want to go like that. I put Breakfast Club on the wheel, and I put there's another one that Knives hasn't seen. 16, is it 16 Candles? I think that's the one he said he hadn't seen, and I put that one on there because that's the one with Long Duck Dong, right? Yeah, I put that one on there as well because that's one of my favorites. It's just Pretty in Pink. I was not my favorite. I mean, the whole concept of it was stupid. Lake, big lake. Weird Science is definitely on the list. Yes. Wow, that smells getting strong. Don't burn. Making weed butter is nerve-wracking. Yeah, David, kind of, right? I know. Yeah. At this, it's kind of like what? Living as close to Lake Superior as I am. I say that line every time I see the lake. We all have dumb shit. You know what I say all the time? Big salad. I want a big salad with tomatoes as big as your eyes. Seinfeld, right? That one. I love salads so much. Crunchy water, give it to me any day. Which one's Better Off Dead? I don't think that one's on there. The wheel's insane. We actually looked at the count and it's up to 200 and what something. Oh my god, I know. You smell so strong. Are you too hot? Every time I get a whiff of butter, I get nervous. Ah. What up, Easy? How are you, love? We're just talking about horrible movies we can't stop quoting. Better Off Dead was the boat one or the car one? I do, but I don't know what happened. Well, I don't know what happened to it. Okay, so fun fact, apparently Dan Schneider is in the cast of Better Off Dead. Like the guy that made all the kids on Nickelodeon show him his feet, show him their feet and massages. He's top billing. Is that... I do have a thermometer. Yep, I've been thermometering it. It just, like, I keep getting a whiff of butter, and I think it's just the fan over there when it blows stuff around. It just makes me nervous. He's always gonna be the butt of the joke. Heyo. I don't think I ever saw Head of the Class. I didn't have TV. Like, honestly, most of those shows that they were talking about in that documentary, I'd never seen. I'd only ever seen All That. I think I was too old for most of them. Thank you for thinking I'm young enough, though. Thank you. And when he was in shows, I didn't have TV. Is there weed on my face? It reminds me of my mom. Whenever I baked anything, when she would smell it, she always thought it was done baking. Yeah. I know, didn't he want to be an actor? That was his big thing, and he tried to write himself into skits with the kids all the time. I think that was part of the documentary. Is that that was like his thing. He wanted to be it. I love a good comedy, and if he's the butt of the joke, but like if he makes money off us watching that, I don't like, you know what I'm... It's on Pluto TV also, whatever the fuck that is. He was like the host family, and he was so creepy. Really? So he's just baseline a creepy fuck across the board? Cool. No shit, Head of Class also starred Robin Givens, Mike Tyson's ex-wife. The hell? Weird. Ugh, his face just creeps me out. But no, if you double check it and make sure it's not creepy fuck, and we're not like, you know, supporting that asshole, I'm down. I love a good laugh. We've already watched so many movies that I've been like, yay, I love this movie. And as we're all watching it together, I'm like, this didn't age well at all. Oh my God. I don't think I love this movie anymore. It's good to watch things like that sometimes. Gives you, with your new eyes, your eyes of adult, of... It's good though, right? I'd rather that happen than me go forth and be like, yeah, this is one of the best movies ever. I used to love that movie. And people go watch it on my like suggestion. They're like, is Katie an ableist homophobe? Like, it's truly fascinating how casually we threw around like retard. I mean, God, that one's the one that is wild to me, and it's used in all the ways, and it's like everything we watched from my childhood, everyone uses that word constantly, and I'm like, this age is terrible. Or they like every being gay is the worst thing that can happen ever. Like we watched what was it, we watched Waiting. Has anyone watched Waiting in the past 5 years? Because in my retrospective memory, I was like, oh my God, Waiting. I used to love this movie. And all I could think of was the weird dick showing game. There was the Batwing, and there's the goat, and there's the brain. And I was like, hilarious. I completely blacked out the part where if someone looks at you doing it, they get to kick you in the ass and call you the derogatory name for a gay person that starts with an F. And it's I deleted that part, and as we were watching, I'm like, oh my God, this is horrific. Like, really bad. I'm glad I'm not the only one, because, man, it's good to watch those movies again, I think, and get this perspective on them. Because, like, we can appreciate them for what they were when they were at that time, as long as we're willing to admit, like, wow, we spoke like fucking assholes. I repressed this section of the movie? Exactly! Yes, I repressed this section of the movie. Oh God, I just told these people I love this movie. I'm a horrible person. Yes. Yes. That's exactly it. Literally to a fucking T. The number of movies about dudes dating under oh my god. That was another I completely deleted in my brain the undertone of Ryan Reynolds' character being into underage girls, which I'm sure, given whom he presents as today, he's not proud of that role either. But it's like, the whole restaurant's like, hey, we got a special table for you, and it's a table of underage girls, like they're all in on it, and they think it's hilarious, and it's just like, oh my god! It's just different eyes. I don't know how else to describe that. It's fucking wild. The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Weird Science, Pretty in Pink, all those movies from my teen years, so of course they're my favorites, but holy fuck, they're so awful and cringe, yes. I have a feeling we're going to get this feeling with Biodome. I think anything with Pauly Shore in it's probably going to hit us in a weird way. There's probably, I've just been looking at the list, and I'm like, oh yeah, anything from the 90s. Like early to late 90s, is probably not going to age well, and I remember thinking these movies were some of the funniest, right? Biodome. For me, it's welcome to the place I'm gonna lick my lizard. But I'm sure there's a lot of shit in it that's gonna make me eat my ass. But I think it's kind of a good thing, because then I won't go forth and be like, oh, it's one of my favorite movies ever. I'll be like, I really liked it, but it didn't age well. It's better to go off that. Like, I really liked that as a youth. It's probably one of my favorites, but did not age well. Did not age well. Encino Man. Yeah. Holy shit. I mean, the Heathers. My god. Or not, it wasn't the Heathers. It was, Heathers, I mean, was great. It would never be made today, I would put it that way. But what was the other one we watched with Shannon Doherty in it? It was Mallrats. Every other word was, excuse my language, retarded. She was retarded for someone and retarded for that guy, and she was retarded for this thing and everything. I was just sitting here like, holy shit. And like the biggest insult was, wow, man, you into dudes? To another dude. And I just think about the world we're in nowadays, and my personal friends, whomst present as male, and their reactions would be so fucking different. And it's not that long ago. Really. Right? A lot of movies didn't age well from the earlier years. It's true. And it's sad, but also I think I'm better to know. I'm better off knowing, I guess. That's how we feel about anime movies, Robots, where the red one cross-dresses and it was like, quite offensive, but for some reason Republicans now say it's woke. They say just bullshit. What did they breathe out their butts. A linchpin of the plot is a 15-year-old writing a book about all the dudes she fucked. I've already blocked that part out again. And they literally end up getting a guy put away for it, and it's, what's his name? Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck plays the guy who fucks the 15-year-old or whatever. It's gross, and it's played off like kind of lightly, and you're just like, oh god. And it's just weird how I didn't even pick up on that shit when I was younger. Mallrats, yes, Mallrats. Age me because times, but we need to add Earth Girls Are Easy. Earth Girls Are Easy. I think I've seen that. That sounds familiar. I'm writing it down. Where's my book? Oh, it's right there. Woken Guy, is that going to be our new, that can be a new, what's the word? Genre? What's the word? Backdoorter. Buggered. Jesus Christ. Probably in somewhere really uncomfortable. Like the backseat of a Volvo? It was representative of the time. That's what I'm saying, Drake, is I think it's really good for us to watch things representative of the time that are older from our childhood so we can see how far we've come and how far we have to go. And so many people just depend on their own personal memory, which I think you and I can both agree is flawed as fuck. Human memory is a mess. Like, they're like, everything was better when I was a kid and children respected their elders and blah, blah, blah. And no. No. Absolutely not. We watched something else in the watch party recently, and I can't remember, but it made me almost shit myself. Someone was referring to someone else as a tranny, and I was just like, eh. It's like it's a full circle kind of realization that I think is good for your brain. Because people they want to ignore that. They want to pretend. And it's like, you're a fucking moron. Clerks 2 had some real rough bits, man. And that one I remember being one of my favorites. And that there was some parts where I was like, big fucking wow. The butter's going good. We have a timer going. We have 12 minutes left on this one. It's not burning, and that's what's importante. Right? Berserker. Have you watched it recently? Because no shit, we just watched it the other night, and there's an entire, like, bit about and again, please excuse my language, a fucking tranny, and it will make your asshole curl. Because if you're like me, no shit, I blacked it out. To me, it's Berserker, and all the funny bits, it's Elias, and his one ring to rule them all. One ring to find them. Like, to me, that's what I think about when I think Clerks 2. I've deleted these horrible bits in there that you're just like, Randall's whole racist shtick, taking it back. I mean, wow. I think my nipples went back inside my body. No shit. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that to this. I mean, seriously, I used to say, I mean, I still like, it's so funny because of these parts that I remember, but I'm so glad I watched it with friends recently where we could all like talk about it openly. Like, oh my God, we all were like, this is the best movie ever. And at this point we're like, wow, there's some really terrible, like this is some terrible shit. Like it's still, there are some fucking great parts, but wow. But it was made up for with Clerks 3. Clerks 3 was so fucking well done. Holy shit. What up, Pete? How are you? If you watch the Warner Bros. Cartoon from the 40s about them, oh, dude, right? Exactly. That's case in point. I mean, we change and we grow as a society, and we need to see where we've been and where we need to go, and how not to go back to that horrible place. Oh, Berserker. So what I need you to do is I need you to sit down and you're going to watch Clerks 1 one night, Clerks 2 the next night, then you're going to watch Clerks 3. And for all the shit that we have blacked out from the first two movies that are horrific and very problematic, 3 makes up for everything. 3 is such a fucking masterpiece. I feel like this music is so epic for what I'm talking about, but I was just weeping. Get ice cream. Yeah. Get ice cream. It's so good. It's such a perfect ending to the series. It's such an homage to the series. Oh, it's so good. I hadn't watched it either. I literally just watched it in the last, like, couple weeks. Yeah, you need potato chips, ice cream to dip the potato chips in, some fudge to drink, at least a box of tissues. I mean, I think Katie and I should have invested in stock in tissues before that evening. A comfy blanket, maybe the loved ones. It's so good. They just do such a good job. I was like doing that gross hiccuping, like snotting, like it's just so and I can't it. I was a fucking mess, but so worth it. Ugh. And again, like I still love 1 and 2 for what they were at the time. They were hilarious and great, and I'm glad that today Katie sees the problematic parts, because when I was younger, I obviously didn't. I didn't see a problem with any of it, and I'm glad that today Katie's like, you know what? I think we could come up with better ways to refer to each other as human beings. You know what I'm saying? Tissue's not for fun, no. No donkey show this time. Yep, a fur baby to cuddle is absolutely necessary, if possible. I still remember my first husband being totally confused when I ugly cried at Dumbledore's death. That's why they're an ex. Some people just can't understand. Yeah. fuck that shit. I will say the first half of Clerks 3 is kind of Kevin Smith jerking himself off, but the second half is lovely. Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, I think that's like, that's part of it, is his, he kind of like, I mean, if you think about it, his stand-ups or his shows are just one person asking him a question and him talking for 3 hours about it. Like, I think he's kind of self-proclaimed, like, Kevin likes Kevin. Which I'm a Kevin Smith fan, like, don't get me wrong, but, like, that's kind of his jam, right? I mean, he just so happened to write himself into all of his... There's a fucking fly in here, and I'm gonna... It's going for my butter! I'll kill ya. I'll kill ya. Bastard. Are you burning? It's like not bubbling, but it's bubbly. Is that normal? I'm assuming it's the air escaping from the weed. But like it looks really dark on stream. It's not burnt, trust me. I'd be freaking out if it was. But like you see what I mean? Or is that just like butter solids? Berserker, it's really good. I'm not kidding about the ice cream and the fudge to drink and the tissues and a loved one and a fur baby if possible. Seriously, necessary. Pretty sure that's what I'm thinking too, because they don't like, it's not bubbling. Like it's not like, you know, we're not boiling or simmering or anything like that. But I've noticed these bubbles kind of like are just there. Normal? Cool. That's what I figured. We're at... Oh man, we've only got an hour left. Crazy. It's crazy. Today flew by. What the fuck happened? Damn. Dogma's just... I love Dogma so much. It's so good. 28 years between movies, and it's launched... Its career, Clerks 3 was basically a love letter to himself and his friends, so yeah, 100%. But I kind of loved that. I was kind of into it. Like, I love that. I know. Rest in peace, Alan Rickman. What a beautiful, beautiful soul, though. So sad. You think that would work, Chris? See, I don't know. Like, that's why I'm glad I have a recipe book for this shit, because there's something about the temperature you cook THC with and how to not ruin the THC. And there's some things, like, I don't know, do you have to, like, I feel like frying chicken would be too hot, but I don't know. That's why I'm so paranoid watching this so closely, because it's not supposed to, like, visibly simmer. It's supposed to be the temperature, like, directly below that. Like, just warm enough to take the THC out, but not, like, kill it. Oh, dude, that would be even better, though, if you had fried chicken and then made some sort of sauce to put on it with the butter. Yum. I don't know what I'm going to make with the butter. Like, I got the shit to make Charleston chews, but I got extra butter just in case, because I don't know if the Charleston chews go too high of a temperature. I'm going to have to look through the recipe book. I was just paranoid about making the butter. I mean, toast. Yeah. But, like, we're going to strain it. Ooh, because then it's just the sauce, right, Viata? How many... This is such a stupid question. That's not it. Wow. So, like, I was looking up, like, just a really ballpark number, because again, I grew this weed out of seeds that I just collected out of random weed over years and years and years, so I have no idea what the potency, strain was, anything. So I was Googling, what's the average amount of THC in an ounce of weed? So if your weed is 10% THC, let's say, you'd expect around 2,800 milligrams for a full ounce. 4,200 milligrams for 15%, and 5,600 milligrams for 20%. No, it's literally just white. This is all I'm getting. I know you trust me, but like, I've reloaded it a couple times and I don't think it's my internet because I'm searching something on Google. Like, I can't get YouTube to work, but that one, I don't know what it is or why it's doing that. Oh, now it won't even let me reload it. Well, you're a douche. So all I was gonna say is so if my weed I grew was 15%, which is very mid, this butter would have around, give or take, I don't know, 4,200 milligrams, right? So I want to be very there's fly. I'm gonna kill it. I'm gonna kill you. Go ahead, touch the butter. You'll fucking die. Let me try it again. Hold on. Fly. I did a full ounce in it. It's an ounce with a pound of butter. Ooh, it loaded! It loaded! Cannabis scientist. Left for the win. Okay, let's take a quick break because I want to go grab... I want to see if I have coffee filters really quick before it's even close. It's stir time. So I'm going to stir it, and then we're going to take a quick break, last break of the day, and then we'll watch this science video, yeah? It loaded an actual thumbnail this time, which is better than it did before, because fucking A. A bug assault rifle? Shut up. I'm pretty good at getting him out of the house usually. It's because I have the door open right now trying to get the weed smell out of the house so Zach doesn't get, like, accidentally high from it. But this one's just haunting me because I'm literally cooking buttery shit. And it probably wants it. That was the one thing I forgot to get at the fucking store, Crispy. I was so mad at myself I didn't get some goddamn cheesecloth. Oh my god, it's literally a bug assault rifle. That seems dangerously fun. No, I'm using Firefox, and I thought it was being laggy because for Zach it's his Indie Saturday, so he's downloading games all day, but it's okay now. What would be an alternative? Because I don't think I have cheese. I'm gonna go check. Because I'm one of those people where, like, I'm convinced I don't have cheesecloth, and then I open the junk drawer and wow, look, cheesecloth. So I'm gonna check and make sure I don't have any. I'm pretty sure I don't though, and I meant to get some at the store because I'm a fucking idiot. I'm not. Don't call. Stop it. You're just a space cadet, Katie. See, that's what I was gonna say. I have a like really tight steel mesh strainer that I figure I'll do for the majority of it I can get out. There'll be, and it's just me, so if there's little tiny specks of weed in there, I don't give a shit. But I might have cheesecloth. But I definitely have that. And I didn't like grind it up. I just broke it up by hand. I don't know. Quick break. Let me go check. Let me go check before I freak out. I think the mesh will be weed butter. Hi, Rod. I was on a search because I didn't think I had it. I told you guys. I'm that person that would be like, oh shit, I don't have any cheesecloth. And I totally did. It's not a lot, but it'll do. It'll fucking do. I had a question though. What should I strain it into? Just like a Tupperware? It's enough. It'll do. I hope you had a good stream, Rod. Man, the house smells so... Strain it into something metal. I gotta look for something metal. Be right back. Found it. Make it metal. Oh, dude, Vile, I'm excited to see it. People have been so good about no spoilers. It's been really nice. We of course made the ultimatum we'd ban you forever, but people have been really good about it. I'm stoked to see it. Turn down ominous music. Where's my timer? Okay. So in about 15 minutes stir and then a half hours. That's the time. That's 3 hours. Ow. I'm nervous. And then I strain that bitch into this bitch with this bitch and that bitch. I found, like, it's one of these, like, camping bowls. It make pleasant sound, but it's metal. It will work. It's actually my Burning Man bowl, so if weed gets, in it, that's cool. Oh, of course, Vile. I've never gone to the theater with anyone that will let me leave, and trust me, I've tried. Not that I don't want to see the intro and outro, or the outros and whatever for every single Marvel thing ever. I just, by the time a movie's over, I'm so fucking done sitting, I want to die. Like, I just want to, I'm screaming. Like, sitting is just the worst thing in the world, and it's got to be a damn fine film to get me to sit for a long period of time and be cool with it, and it's happened. Okay, and then I'll put the wire strainer like that, and that'll get the big chunks. Ready. How are you doing, weed? It looks brown. Oh, David, I have a hard time sitting for a full movie, let alone watching all the names go by. I do it because it's respectful. But I don't want to. It's just part of being an adult is accepting you can't always do what you want to do. You know? Sometimes you just. It's respectful. I always. Same with video games. Same, Vile. Yeah. If I beat a video game, I let those credits roll and I sit through every fucking one. I once got out for wanting to watch the credits. Wait. I once got kicked out. Shut the fuck up. Really? Bitch, you paid for the full movie and that's part of it. That seems fucked up, David. Really? I mean, I'm such a non-confrontational person. I probably would have been like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry. I'm not supposed to be here. And I would just limp away. But what the hell? Ah, David, did they let you stay? And I was like, I worked on this. I just want to see my name. Did they let you? Please say they did. That's so fucked. Oh shit, we have the science video. That's what we're watching. Oh, I'm gonna grab a monster real quick. No shit, they let you stay, but they also passive aggressively started vacuuming? I would have put my feet up and ordered more popcorn. Rude. That's so mean. I'm sorry that happened to you, David. I don't think I've ever been kicked out of a movie theater. They let people, I mean, nowadays credits have so many endings things. But wow. Not being a cunt, like that is part of the movie you paid to go see. Am I incorrect in that? Cheers. Woo! I haven't had fizz in a bit. It was some 17-year-old. They just have a shitty job. I get it on some level. I kinda. You know what, David? This is why 17-year-olds need shitty jobs like this. So they can learn that that's inappropriate. Really vile. I worked at a movie theater. They tell you you're not supposed to start cleaning until the very last credit. Those people really, or probably wanted an extra break. Yep, they probably wanted to get out for the night, but I mean, if I made a movie and my name was in the credits, I would sit and watch every fucking credit. Come on, it's the least you get, my god. I'm surprised I haven't seen this because I'm subscribed to this channel, Glut. I actually really like watching these videos where it's like they have a professional answer questions from the internet and break it down. That was a big pull. My lungs are a little burny. I don't think I want to call it juice. Molecules absorb the light, so it does sort of have a color. That's what I'm saying, like, sort of? But I guess on the visibility spectrum, I don't know, because, like, molecules aren't technically on the I don't know. It's too much. Not today. That's so soon. I forgot when my brother was visiting, he told me about a THC brew on tap at a bar. Damn, that was near him. It was both it has both THC and alcohol in it. Does it just level you out, or what happens? I wouldn't. Isn't there a term for that? Smoking and drink? That seems like a recipe to get. But drinking THC is totally different. Metabolizing it is an edible as opposed to smoking it. So I don't know. That's a good question. Both are downers, technically, right, Vile? In terms of, like, uppers and downers. I think both alcohol and weed are technically a downer. Right? Ceiling, same. Like, I would never smoke and drink. I will projectile vomit. Like, I get the spins. I get hot and cold and sweaty. It's horrific. But eating it, she was just describing that as well. Like, eating it's a totally different process and it actually turns into a different molecule. So maybe it's the spins. Thank you. I quite literally haven't had the spins for over 10 years because I learned that it was weed and alcohol at the same time. Hello, ma'am. My dogs are being so needy today. The door's open for you. What's up? Yes? Hi. You're very pretty. Do you need room? Okay. An energy drink with CBD? That seems interesting. They want the butter. Do you want... It does seem very smoky in here. I can't tell if it's from me or if it's from my weed butter. I just don't know. Look how pretty you are. Don't lick my face. I have lotion on. You won't even like it. I'm so sorry. Don't be ashamed. I know. It's the attention. Don't they look like velvet? Ever since they got groomed, I'm just like, man, you're so pretty. I mean, you're pretty all the time, don't get me wrong. But, like, you're so pretty. Weird, shy girl. I think they do have a color. Don't they find out what elements are present in exoplanets from analyzing the color spectrum coming in? Yeah. Technically, yeah. Yeah? What's in your ear hair? What did you get into, ma'am? Can I get it? They deserve the attention. I never ever want a moment to go by that that I think I didn't love my dog hard enough, or that they didn't think I loved them. Dude, why not? Try it out. Give us the review. Dude, he totally does. He's sitting there staring at me like a left out sadness. She looks like Velveteen, and he does. He looks like he was flocked. That's a really good word for it. And they're both soft as fuck, though. You're so soft. Hi, bud. I'd invite you in, but I know you won't because your sister's a bitch. What happened to you? Nothing. I'm perfect. She's literally a bitch, but also, like, figuratively became kind of a bitch. Oh, those claws are the death of me. You're very pretty. You're very angular. He knows what time it is. Look at his tail. Hi, Bubba. What time is it? Is it that time of day? It's time. It's a mouth battle. Let me see. What's the title of it? Is it the problem? You're problematic? I know. They know. It's just bizarre to me, and I don't know how they know. Oh, now it's getting weirdly rated. Ma'am, can you dominate at a different time? Thank you so much. It's humpin' time. Mighty Morphin humpin' time. That's my dominant bitch. And if she gets a chance, she humps my boy. And I don't think he hates it. I mean, likes it. You know, I think she has a thing with dogs smaller than her vial. We noticed that at the dog park. There's a small dog park, thank fuck, and that's where all the tiny dogs stay. But if there's one in there, she hunts them like prey. He will fetch any fucking day. She plays the game of attack you as you're coming back. So like his fetch has become like he goes, he gets the ball, and then he stops and he looks for Lilith, and then he devises like the best route home, and he'll fly over like lawn furniture and shit and trees because she will just pile drive him to try to take the ball away, and then she just goes somewhere and sits with it. She's just a bitch. She's Angelica Pickles. She's the pop. Okay, that one. Yes, that one did load. Thank fuck. I apologize about it. I really did think we could just watch music videos and stuff all day. I didn't even think about it being Indie Saturday. That's on me, and I'm sorry. Yeah, this is it. It's almost done. It's like 10 minutes. But I'm going to do it in the kitchen because I'm scared because it's literally really hot butter and it seems like a terrible thing to do out here. That's what it looks like. It looks real fucking gross. I would never, I don't believe in drugging people if they don't want to be drugged. I would fucking never do that to somebody, ever. Maybe Rod. Just kidding, I would never. That is so gross. No, I got normal butter to make some normal stuff. So I figured tomorrow we can cook. Tomorrow, the internet should be fine because no more Indie Saturday. If you want to watch music videos and stuff, because I got other baking stuff to try some of those weird retro recipes. That's what I figure. It's gonna dribble down the side of the pan because the pan's got a weird lip on it, and hot butter on an old carpet. Yuck. Okay, so Najio, I added a tablespoon of water because I don't remember if Gump's recipe did. I have that again in the kitchen because I was doing some of the stuff in there. It was I felt like it was 50-50 across the board with recipes. I read a ton of recipes online because I was, I don't know. I can never just read one thing and like totally encompass something. I was looking up like what's to decarboxylate? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? What's the purpose? Blah, blah, blah. And it seemed 50-50. 50% of people added a little bit of water so that the weed didn't burn, and 50% of people didn't. I figure I'll add half the amount of water normal people do and be fine. And I think the water is burnt off because at this point it's just like the bubbles on top. are just the what is it? The milk solids. It's just like the milk solids at this point, and that's it. So we've got high hopes. Hey! But as soon as I strain it, I'll take a picture and put it in the Discord and I'll tweet it or whatever, because I'm sure it's gonna look disgusting and weird and cloudy and awesome. And then tomorrow we can try to like cook with it, or I guess not cook with it. Today fucking flew by. I don't know what happened. I feel like the day just flew by. It was weird. And all I did was like stir stuff every 30 minutes. Yep, and that's what I was thinking. If you're seeing bubbles, the water's gone. That's what I was thinking as well. And that's, I mean, you guys are seeing essentially the same thing I'm seeing. That stuff never goes away at this point. That I think is just the buttermilk solids. And that'll come out in the cheesecloth, I'm pretty positive, right? Yeah. Solids, that's the point of the cheesecloth, right? It's a witching stream. Ooh, I know. Tomorrow we get to definitely not feed it to people that are unaware of what they're eating, because that would be super fucked up. Seriously. I feel like no matter what I say out loud, I sound like intensely sarcastic. I'm being so crazy serious when I say like giving people to drugs who are unaware is fucked up. Never do that. Boil, boil, toil and trouble. Wait, oil boil. Oil boiled, toil and titties. That was added in the very beginning. I had to dehydrate that in the oven with the weed. So there's something you do with the weed before you even put it in the butter. You break it up into tiny pieces and then you put it in the oven to do this process called decarboxylate. And that's essentially like, from what I read, literally, I don't know, from what I read, it activates the THC. So then the THC can be released into the butter and then eaten and you get high. And I figure the piece of soul I had, it was the dankiest of the stickiest of icky. And it was really wet, so I dehydrated it and then crumbled it into a powder and put that in afterwards. But you definitely want to add that in with the butter before the weed, because it's kind of like, you know how you like put spices into a pan before you add body parts? Children.